Welcome to episode 177 of the Reptile Gumbo podcast. We are one person down momentarily.
Yeah.
Katie is busy doing, I think it's Girl Scout related stuff.
Some kind of fundraiser Zoom call, she said.
I never remember what she's doing, but she'll be here later in the show. She will be here. She's in the house. She's just not in the room. She'll be here later. But Robert's here. He didn't melt in his shop.
Well, I'm definitely losing weight because my fucking shorts won't stay on.
You definitely got to lose some weight sweating it off in there.
Yeah.
You know, some people pay a lot of money to go to a sweat lodge, and you just show up every day to do it for free. Or
well,
you're paying somebody to have that building.
A lot of money to do.
That's true.
Yeah, to sweat in there.
That is true. It is. It's hot.
Well, I had to explain to him today because he showed me the light bill, and he's like, "So in June, my light bill was only this much, but it went up $115 this month." I'm like, "Yeah, because nobody was in the building last month." Oh yeah, because nobody was in there the whole month of June.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, I didn't think about that." And I'm like, "Yeah,
that
happens
when someone moves in. They use power,
right?"
It's crazy. It's a weird concept.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For those of you that don't live in the South, it's fucking hot.
Oh God,
I think I saw like the actual temp at some point this week was like 104, 105.
I don't know how you guys have it this cool upstairs. It will not get below 76 in my house.
Really?
Day, period. Like I'm setting it on 76 now.
And just hanging out downstairs.
Just so it doesn't run. It's hot down there too.
It is. It's
because my light bill was just shy of $600 last month.
I think honestly around 500.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And I don't officially know how much of the light bill is used by the reptiles, but I don't think it's $500 mostly because of the reptiles. I think it's air conditioning because it's fucking hot here. But anyways, so I'm excited though. Thursday, I leave to go to the Football Hall of Fame inductions in Ohio. I actually don't know what the temperature. I should have looked. I don't know if the temperature is going to be in Ohio, in Canton, Ohio, on this weekend.
I got you, buddy.
But it's going to be less than here.
Yes, I saw somebody today in Chicago said the high was 88.
Okay, so Lewis in the chat says the heat is better than the cold. No, we're fat. I disagree.
Lewis, I'm glad you're here. That's the I have zero access to Messenger right now.
What did you say?
I can see your messages,
but
I can't respond to them. So message James and get my phone number.
What did you say to somebody?
I don't know. I don't know.
I know whenever you're like, my messenger doesn't work, you said something.
Yeah, I can't participate in groups for 7 days. And
that's funny. But yeah, anyway, so I'm leaving Thursday to go see DeMarcus Ware, who went to Troy University.
I know what it was.
And so I was Troy University, and I want to see him get inducted into the Hall of Fame.
A friend of mine who's a longtime police officer. Today the high in Canton is 77.
Look, my dad was in Milwaukee. He said he's in Milwaukee, and they were all bitching about it being 88 degrees, and he just laughed out.
It's gonna get down to 60 tonight in Canton. 57 tonight.
Fuck yeah.
Jeez, man, I hate you.
I cannot wait till this weekend.
I'm going with you. So a friend of mine posted about some school in Athens, Texas, or something is hiring like level 3 security guards, basically minimum wage, but armed security for the schools. He's like, it's a horrible idea. They don't really have the training. They don't, it takes a certain mindset to be a school resource officer.
I don't know. I've met some pretty shitty school resource officers.
Yes, I agree. And they're
this is no offense, because I know you were a cop, but they're just cops. And
yes.
not all cops are good cops.
I agree.
Just like at any job, not all teachers are good teachers. Not all whatever are good.
So then this lady she went to the Citizens Police Academy a few years ago, and now she's an expert. She said we need to have veterans and retired police officers.
I've also met veterans.
Yeah, me too. I've met some that are. So my friend, who is a retired Secret Service agent, was on the Secret Service like SWAT detail, and owns a company that specializes. He was the head of security for a huge school district in this area just after the Santa Fe school shooting, and really revolutionized how they do things, facial recognition software, so they could keep people off campus, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, he commented, and he's like, who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for the insurance? What insurance company are they going to get to insure them for that? What use of force continuum are they going to use since they're not law enforcement? Like this whole thing. And she's like, you're just being a bully. And
that's a valid question.
He was like, no, I'm an expert in the field, and I'm asking questions. And then she's like, you're just being a douchebag. And I was like, well, I can't ignore that. And so I found some other comments she had made and put them up. And I was like, well, you're just stupid.
That got you booted?
Well, I may have said a few others.
Okay, I was about to say, no, I've seen you say way worse. Dad said, fuck yeah, this veteran could straighten out some fucking kids. You're not there to beat the kids. You're there to beat anybody that comes there to beat the kid. Well, anything.
Because like my friend, his whole thing is we need to identify it beforehand, and we need to give kids better access to mental health. When we see issues like the kid in Santa Fe, he had mental health issues.
Yeah.
It was very well known. Nobody did anything for him.
Look,
and she goes, well, I see your liberals just showing. And I was like, oh my God. Jesus, like, how do we get to that?
She called you liberal?
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious. I as a teacher, I always like every time I see like we should give teachers guns. No.
Well, that's the other thing.
I'm a teacher. I know the teachers. I don't want them to have guns.
That's the other thing my buddy said. He's like, there's been like some pretty in-depth studies done that is really a horrible idea. Okay, so yeah, your highs. When are you going to be in Canton?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, leaving Sunday.
So okay, Thursday the high's 87, low 65. Saturday it's 84, 60.
It's gonna be so miserable.
And Sunday 86, 67.
Oh, horrible! But the humidity's low too.
38%, 11%, 22%, 7% on Saturday.
Fuck yeah, 7%. That's good because that's when I'll be at the induction.
Wait. That's the chance of rain.
Oh damn! Don't give me that.
Hold on.
It's still gonna be low. It's not gonna be Houston.
70% humidity. Yeah, we're 93.
I about to say it's still not gonna be. I walk outside and it slaps me in the face. So. Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it.
Literally, I let the dogs out at 5:30 this morning, and the heat was just oppressive.
Yeah,
coming. I'm like, God, this is horrible. I think I'm gonna start cranking my AC down to like 50 at like 3 a.m. and get the house super cold, and then just see if it'll stay for a while.
You need to get you one of those, dude, like the cooler so off of like a walk-in freezer, and just hook that up in your house.
I need to get one of those. You seen those coolers out now that are people think they're swamp cooler, but they're not. It actually has the cold water circulates through coils, and it actually puts out like 33-degree air.
Ooh.
At like 25 miles an hour.
I'll take that.
Yeah, it's like $300, but it works as a cooler too.
Wait, I think I have seen that.
Yeah,
I have seen that. My dad said we choose to live in the shithole. Well, because they pay me well to live here. Well, I'll say well. Take that back. They pay me more than when I lived in the other shithole in Louisiana, and both of them are hot.
Just as hot. Yeah.
Just as hot. So, look, I'm going back to Louisville in the cold. I don't want snow. I for sure as fuck don't want ice again. But I don't want hot. But I'm not going to move north because I don't want snow. So I'll deal with it. Anyways,
Vegas, where it's going to be 111 tomorrow.
Yeah, but it's a dry heat, Robert.
I'm not at that point. El Paso was a dry heat too, and it was 110.
An oven is a dry heat, but it can cook my pizza.
Breathe outside when I was out there. We had to work at night in El Paso because we were working on security systems and parking lots, like entry points and stuff. And the tools would be so hot during the day if you set them down, you couldn't touch them.
So it's funny.
We would have to cover them up with a tarp.
You think about that? You think about here, like during the day when it's like 104, 105, and then when people are keeping reptiles, they're like, I want to keep it like where they live, and people will look up temperatures from somewhere in Africa and go, look, it's really hot there. Yeah, it's really fucking hot here, but go find a snake when it's 101 outside.
You can't even when we were at Russell's house the other morning picking up tortoises. Logan was like, Russell, we need to go herping. And Russell's like, why? He's like, it's so dry and hot. There's nothing. They're all deep in the ground somewhere.
Yeah. That's everybody wants to try and make it like where they are. I'm like, well, where they are in that place is under something, away from everything. Darren, we're gonna go visit the the Reptarium. I'm thinking of the Replandia. Yeah, but I don't have time in that region. I'm going up there and then I'm flying back, so I don't have time to visit the Reptarium. I'd like to go there. I'd like to go there. I'd like to go to see Snake Discovery's place too, while I was up north, which is way up north. But Reptilandia, I want to go to. Our buddy Jason, who we had on the show last week, went to Reptilandia on his way home.
Yeah,
he sent me some pictures. Fucking amazing.
How come he didn't just respond to our group chat? Jason,
because it was in my group chat with him and Travis. So you're not in that group chat. So that's the weird thing about group chats on Facebook is you end up with like 7 or 8, 9, 10, 15 group chats.
Yeah.
And so it's like a mixture of the same people. And you're like, man, this would be so much easier if we're all in the same group chat.
It's even worse in Alexandria than it is here today.
Is it really?
104 there today.
Yeah. So my tortoises are, I bet my tortoises
it's only
are not.
53% humidity. We're at like 90.
There's no fucking way.
That's what it says. Alexandria.
I've lived in Alexandria. I've never been at 50-something% humidity in Alexandria, Louisiana.
Today, humidity 53%.
All right. So if you're keeping Kisatchie corn snakes,
it went up to 75%, but that's still 20% lower than here.
This is just if you're keeping Kisatchie corn snakes, go ahead and crank it up to 104.
Yeah.
And 70% humidity.
And then get ready to bury your snakes.
That's what it is where they live, Robert. It's
like when Dave Kaufman went to Australia and started finding bearded dragons, and he's like, "Yeah, let me shoot the hole that I just found it in."
Yeah, and it's much colder.
72 degrees in there, and they got like 1 foot sticking out, getting UV.
That's true. We're going to. I'm flying into Louisville.
Is that where he lives?
No, he's gonna meet me up there.
Oh, Micah's?
No,
Oh,
my dad.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna meet me in Louisville.
Oh, yeah.
And we're gonna go to the Louisville Slugger Museum.
Right.
Is the plan.
Looks like your dad wants some bourbon.
Yeah, he's gonna get bourbon, I'm sure, at some point too. Anyways, let's do sponsor stuff. I don't have Katie here. If you want a high quality rack or PVC enclosure, call Robert. I'm not gonna go through the Katie's not here to do the whole spiel. That's I don't even know how to, it's one of those words that people say, but I don't know how many people actually know how to spell it. I don't know how to spell it. I'm sure there's an I and an E in there somewhere, but I'd fuck it up if I tried. So contact Robert, lsreptileracks.com for signs, acrylic needs, also for
Ectotherm
Designs, which is Robert's also does that. So anything that needs to be cut, call Robert.
Brittany Decent wants you to say Louisville again.
Louisville.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing.
Louisville. It's not Louisville.
Nope.
If you're up there, it's like Louisville. It's there's way less syllables in it if you're from
the
there.
other Facebook user about her cousin, that's Danielle Cruz.
She's complaining about like 85.
Yeah, she's gonna die.
I'd love 85. No, it not question mark. What is Brittany Decent having a stroke?
Don't know.
It is Louisville. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's not Louisville.
It's not Louisville. It's not Louisville.
Which doesn't make sense because it's St. Louis.
Although it's Louisville Slugger, not Louisville Slugger.
Yeah.
But if you're from there, it's Louisville. Anyways, next sponsor, because he's in the chat. Here we go. Little Shop of Horrors. Little Shop of Horrors is a small feeder and pet supply business based in San Antonio, and they regularly schedule feeder meetups around San Antonio as well as other neighboring towns and cities. They offer shipping on their feeder insects, ice pods, and are working on starting shipping on their feeder rodents too. All feeders are raised on a nutritional diet that optimize the health of the reptiles and the amphibians that consume them. Definitely check them out. If you're in the area, definitely get rodents. I've been feeding rodents from Lewis lately, and my ball python, who was being a picky eater, besides the fact that I'm now not cooking them. I talked about this last week where I didn't realize the probe would come off the rack, and I was basically cooking my snakes. He's now at a normal temperature, but he ate again. He ate before that and ate after that, and they're both things that came from Lewis. So go check out Lil's Shop of Horrors, LIL''S Shop of Horrors on Facebook.
Do it
now. Also,
remind me before I leave tonight to get my mice from you.
Yeah, I got mice
and rats
and some rats. You want? I mean, you can keep most of the rats here until you need whatever you need. That's fine. Herb's Reptile shows. Next Herb's Reptile show is August 12th. That's coming up. I think we're going to be there. Corpus Christi, Texas. I know you're going to be there. We're planning on being there. We probably should get like an Airbnb or something.
I got one with Andy.
Oh, fuck yeah. Okay. So I don't know. We'll figure out something. Corpus Christi, Texas, August 12th and 13th. Then down over to Bryan College Station, August 19th and August 20th. Then back to Conroe. I just feel like we were just at Conroe, September 9th and 10th. Then over to Baton Rouge, which was really Gonzales, September 16th and 17th.
I don't know why that one bothers you so much when none of them are actually where
Conroe's in Conroe.
Yeah, but like Corpus is not in Corpus, it's in Robstown. And you don't ever say that for Robstown because you used to live there.
Because I used to live there and I've been to Gonzales and I know, I guess. But the rest of them are like, so let's see. Bryan College Station. That's in Bryan. Conroe's in Conroe. Baton Rouge is not Baton Rouge. Waco's in Waco?
No. Yes, it is now.
I've never been to Waco.
Yes.
Lake Charles is in Lake Charles.
Mm-hmm.
West Monroe is in West Monroe.
We soon. Haven't done that one yet.
That's true. Austin's in Austin.
No.
It's
in Leander.
Oh, it is in Leander.
Like 25 miles from Austin.
That is true. And it was not in Austin before that spot.
Rock. Yeah.
Well, fuck it. Anyway, the Gonzales and not Baton Rouge. So Waco, Texas is October 21st and 22nd. Lake Charles is November 4th, November 5th. West Monroe will be November 18th, November 19th. And Austin, Texas in Leander is December 2nd and December 3rd. So come out, see Robert. He'll be at all of them. You'll be at all those, right? Maybe not Waco.
I'll be there. So
come see Robert. Get a sign. Get an acrylic cage. Get a PVC cage. Get a rack. You get all of them, he'll make you a deal.
Yes.
I think that's. Oh, if there's anything else, if you need a LED UVB light bulb, check out VivTech products. Use code Gumbo22 and you'll save 15% on your products. My brain was running low there. Oh, and go back to Little Shop of Horrors. If you mention us at Little Shop of Horrors, you get 10% off your first order. So I'm just trying to save everybody some money. You can save some money on light bulbs, rats. Shit is expensive.
How do we only have 2 shows between now and Conroe? Seems like we just had Conroe.
I know. We're just there.
I know.
Anyways, so check out that. Let's go ahead and bring in our guest. Click on all the buttons. Savannah and Jessica of the Reptile Youth Alliance. How are y'all doing?
Great. How are you guys?
Good. My air conditioner works apparently, so Robert's great.
Yeah. Tolerable in here right now.
But y'all are in Florida, so y'all know it's miserable as well.
It is. Yeah. It's funny that you say that. So, with the reptiles, you were talking about the heat. Our two keystone species here in Florida are the gator and then the gopher tortoise. And 360 different species of animals use the gopher tortoise burrow as a refuge from the heat. And when I visit schools, I've been visiting schools for 8 years. That's one thing I mentioned. I'm like, do you want to be in 70 degrees in here in the AC, or do you want to be in 95-degree weather outside? And everybody prefers the AC. Or
Yeah.
before we had AC, we had underground cellars and caves and things like that, and that's how you regulate your temperature. So I think that's one thing that people kind of miss with animals. People automatically assume that reptiles want to be hot, and they really do want a perfect ambient temperature. So that's one of the things that we kind of try to teach the kids around here.
Well, it's always weird when people want to talk about, they want to keep the natural habitat, and they'll look at the high temps, but no one ever looks at a place where it also gets 20 degrees and yeah, we should keep it at 20 degrees for our snake as well. That's, you got to understand, animals aren't out there at the highs and lows. There's a happy middle.
They're like us. They go somewhere.
Yes,
because they're smart.
Definitely smarter than some people.
Yeah.
So tell us about the Reptile Youth Alliance.
Man, I want to go ahead and talk.
I
have a cold, so I'm not going to talk.
So I guess I can go over our mission statement. So our mission statement, the Reptile Youth Alliance is dedicated to empowering the next generation of environmentally conscious leaders through innovative STEM education, hands-on research experience, community-driven conservation efforts. We are rooted in the belief that diversity fuels progress, and we strive to foster the love for reptiles and amphibians while promoting an inclusivity in STEM fields. Our mission is to inspire young minds, to connect them with mentors and scientists, to provide a positive impact both on reptile conservation and youth development, and where every child has the opportunity to thrive academically and contribute to environmental stewardship and have their voices kind of heard. So we kind of feel like in the reptile community, we're kind of the underdogs, and we kind of see that in the students that we work for and work with. And that's really, we are working for them. This isn't for us. We're working for the future and conserving reptiles. We have great organizations within the reptile community like USARC and USARC Florida that are really fighting for our rights. And they raise a ton of money, in efforts for conservation and legal aspects of reptile keeping mainly. But we really want to kind of reach outside of the community. And so, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And that's really what we're trying to do, is we're trying to make friends and allies in every community. I know a lot of other people who have done conservation that have been really successful have actually kind of brought over people who most you would necessarily say that might not be an ally, but we really look at every single person as an ally. And how do we make them an ally? They just don't know they're an ally yet.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, we want to really connect the breeders with the scientific world, with the conservationists, with the ecologists. Actually, I just saw a really good post from Vanessa Crutchfield, and she was talking about, I can't remember which rock iguana she was mentioning, but it's one of the rarest rock iguanas, and a lot of the zoos destroy the eggs.
Was it the Jamaican species?
Yeah, it was the Jamaican rock iguana. And the zoos will destroy the eggs. And I know it's not just for that, because I actually worked in an AZA zoo as well. But they'll destroy the eggs, even though it's an endangered species, because they don't have, places to raise the baby. So I feel like if we, and that's what she was saying, why are these not given to private breeders?
Because of the AZA.
Right. Yeah. So I think if we could get connected and we're all work on the same level and kind of take, I don't know, the money aspect, I guess, out of it, which is I see it from both ends, because Savannah and I were both business owners before we got into nonprofit. So I do understand the money part of it, but I think, we're all working towards the greater good. We all reptile people love the animals and don't want to see them disappear. So I think we should kind of try to work together. So I think at least Savannah and I think our best shot at doing that is connecting with the kids and getting, the next generation on board.
Yeah, I agree. You need to work with everyone except for the one people you didn't say, and that's PETA. Fuck them. Any chance I get to say fuck PETA.
Sorry, but I just
Everyone else is great. PETA, you can.
Right.
Anyways, do other stuff.
Yeah.
AZA. So my wife will be a little later. Also used to work for an AZA zoo, and it's funny how many people are in this hobby that had used to work at zoos and then realize they don't like being poor and they no longer work at zoos.
Yep.
But I've met so many people.
I've never seen a job that pays damn near minimum wage that has so much competition.
Yeah.
For the open position.
Yeah. No, everybody wants a job and they want you to have experience and they want you to do all this stuff. And like I told you, I interviewed for a zoo in Florida, and they're like, and when they interviewed me, they literally said that our keepers, they find a way to survive. They'll sometimes live together and as roommates. I'm like, what kind of selling point is that? Find a way? How do you? That's a horrible.
We're not going to pay you enough to live, but
could you imagine?
You can figure it out, man. You're resourceful. You're educated.
I'm just thinking. As a job interview, find a way should not be in the vocabulary. That should leave that out. But yeah, a place where they want you to have gone to college and have spent money on an education and then not pay you anything.
Well, that's what we see a lot of, like the people who actually have done the research they're doing these jobs mainly, and then they have breeding projects on this side. Like I got my rhino iguanas from Chris Palekia, and he used his breeding projects of rhino iguana to do conservation in Haiti. And what's crazy is he did more to compile research in there in the little time that he was in Haiti and the Dominican Republic than they did in a 30-year span. But we're also seeing, there's also the disconnect with government agencies and people wanting to get the credit because of money. So although we don't want to always address it, money is a huge issue. And so what Jessica and I noticed is with us being a nonprofit and working with kids and working with nature and working with animals, that we are now able to reach out. And Jessica's done a great job of writing grant proposals and getting a lot of money in United Way, Dollar General, and we've gotten a bunch of different ones, NASCAR, but a lot of that we've gotten from, and government, we're looking really for government and bigger grants in the future that we can drive towards the reptile industry. Basically, we want to focus on children because we want to kind of reach people before they've kind of solidified their judgment on things. I visit schools, I visit mostly elementary age, but I've seen kids that were terrified at first who then want to hold my animal and love it and know its name. They remember its name. So we do know that once you put this in people's mind and put that out there, that it does change minds. The one thing that we're seeing is that for these agencies that are giving grants, they want to see that the community is supporting us, and that's the general community and then also the reptile community. And so far, we've been very, very fortunate in being supported in the reptile community and in the general community. So we're hoping to really grow it. We had our first ever conference where students actually presented their science projects, which was awesome. And then we had vendors kind of through it. We had guest speakers. We had Tiki Geckos. They were great guest speakers. And ZooMed came, and we had just awesome vendors who knew that this was our first show and it wasn't going to be necessarily for profit, but really for the kids. And it was such a great think tank. So we know in the future where we want to go with things. And we might not be in the major cities we say either, though. I'm sorry. I hope you don't hate on us if we're not in the major city that you mentioned. Like they say Tampa, but really the show's in Largo a lot of times.
Yeah. And there's a lot of the reptile shows that do that. And I get it.
Because the big cities, they have stupid rules.
Well, because no one would fucking know where the place was if you named the small city next to it that the show was in.
Well, like the Pearlian show was the South Houston show.
Yeah.
And now the Rosenberg show is still going to be the South
Houston show, and it's still not. And
yeah, from here, you don't know where that's at.
I get it. Just drives me nuts. Well, the worst one was Repticon's Memphis show. It's not even the same state.
Oh, it's across the river?
It's in Mississippi.
That's a tri-state.
It's a national. No, it was Memphis. It was the Memphis show. Yeah, it was across. It was in Mississippi.
Wow.
I'm like, at least get the state right. Like,
right.
Like, anyways. So, do y'all do stuff outside of Florida, or are y'all planning on doing more outside of Florida? Like, how big have y'all How long have y'all been around, and how big have y'all gotten so far? How big is
Well,
your reach?
we were doing, Savannah and I met kind of, and we have very similar backgrounds, and we started bouncing ideas off of each other. And so we were doing this prior to becoming like a nonprofit. And Savannah was the one that really pushed to we need to be official and, get everything set up. So it's been just over a year now. It took a long time to get all that paperwork straight. And I mean, they came back and we had something wrong with our name or something, and we had to resubmit our paperwork. So it took a little while. So we've been an official nonprofit for about a year now, but we've been doing it for about 4 years. I know I've been working with some of my kids. I started in middle school and they've graduated. So it's been really awesome to see. And one thing that we also do with the kids is we give them a lot. I'm actually doing a thesis on this, the effectiveness of the kids on, reptile conservation, because it's really interesting to watch the kids with the animals and how they present the animals to people who might be afraid. If a kid sees me with a snake that they're, scared or hesitant with, I don't think I really have the same effect as if they see a kid their age with a snake who's able to know about it and handle the snake. And the same with adults. I mean, adults just think I'm crazy, like a crazy snake lady. But they see a kid and they're really amazed about how much the kid knows about the snake and how they're able, to understand the snake's behavior. And I think that's really awesome. And for the kids that are able to do that, I see such a huge boost in confidence. And at the conference, we let the kids talk on the microphone in front of, everyone that was there, and they loved it. So they felt really special. We had a couple kids that taught classes for us, and it was really awesome to see that confidence boost in kids.
Sorry, I was looking at the whole Memphis, Tennessee, Mississippi thing. I was listening to her, but that's so crazy how it's just the city doesn't end.
Yeah,
it just and there's like literally these little things where they go around houses like this because they said no, we want to stay in Mississippi, not Tennessee. So there's like the state line goes up like 100 yards and then goes over and then comes back down 100 yards around some houses.
It's also weird flying or driving into Memphis at night. Mm-hmm. It's like the place is surrounded by aliens because FedEx Hub is there.
Yeah,
and so it's just shit tons of planes.
I bet just a ton of them
everywhere. Saw that go into Tinley one year because we're driving through there at night. Anyways,
sorry.
But, who's had bugs stuck
we get off topic constantly.
What?
No, anybody had bugs stuck in Memphis?
Oh, I had a snake.
Oh yeah,
I've had dinner.
I shipped a snake. I shipped
10?
a snake from Houston to Sacramento, and it flew from Houston to Memphis. Got put on a plane in Memphis, flew to Sacramento. The weather was too bad; they couldn't land. Flew back to Memphis. This was during COVID, so then they were like, we don't have anybody to unload it. So it sat in Memphis for like 12 hours. Then it flew back to Sac that night, got offloaded in a container on the tarmac, and it was like 45 degrees. And they were like, we don't have anybody to unload the container for probably 48 hours. I'm like, well, crap, this snake's going to be dead. Because it had a 48-hour heat pack in there. Well, thank goodness it was a rosy boa, and they're pretty hardy when it comes to the cold. Because the guy got it. So the guy was leaving to go out of the country for a month, like Saturday morning. And he finally got it Friday evening because he had no family, no nothing out there. He just moved out there, had no friends. So it was going to have to get shipped back to me, and I was going to have to hold it for a month. Oh. And he got it, and he's like, yeah, she's fine. Nothing wrong. I'm like, well, thank goodness it wasn't a fragile species.
We mentioned bugs. I was like bug-related question. I just realized, anybody know the lifespan of it or how long a black soldier fly lives for?
Was it still in there?
Oh, I didn't know there was one in there, and now I just don't want to open the fucking cage. So apparently a larva, I'd fed him a larva at some point, and the larva must have fallen into the bedding, and it is now hatched.
Where's that?
It was just flying around a second ago. So I need I need one of these skinks to eat that motherfucker before I open this cage again. Creepy ass fly.
Dude, this is so weird how there's like streets, like a neighborhood. And the street
gets lost in Memphis.
Yeah, the street like gets to the state line and goes, nope. And they in the street, and then in another
you're walking through Memphis. You should just start singing it right now.
Yeah. You don't want to hear that.
Texas or Louisiana?
We're in Texas. I used to live in Louisiana.
Look, here's a Sam's Club that the straight line goes right through the middle of.
So wait, I can buy toilet paper in Tennessee, and then I can buy steaks in Mississippi.
Pretty much.
Okay.
It like goes right through the middle of Sam's Club. The state line does.
Right
Sorry,
through
guys.
Sam's Club.
Right through the middle of a Sam's Club.
How do you? Who do they pay
It goes
taxes
right through
to?
the middle of a Lowe's too.
Who do you pay taxes to?
I guess it depends on which end of the store you check out on.
No way.
Because look, the garden center is in Tennessee, but pretty much the rest of the Lowe's.
So they make money off. Tennessee makes money off the Christmas trees that Lowe's sells, but if they're selling lumber, that's going to Mississippi.
Yeah, it looks like it. That's so weird, man.
Yeah, there were reptile shows in Mississippi that were labeled.
I mean,
Tennessee.
we have Texarkana that some of the cities in Texas, some of it's in Arkansas.
Well, nothing's more confusing than Kansas City.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say Missouri and Kansas City. Yeah.
Because then
And they have the same name.
Well, then you think like the Kansas City Chiefs, you're like, oh, they're in Kansas. Nope, they're in Missouri.
Yeah.
They're in Missouri,
and
Kansas City, Missouri.
At least with Memphis, you have West Memphis, Arkansas.
Yeah.
So it's, it's not just Memphis, it's West Memphis.
West Memphis, Arkansas.
Yeah.
That sounds like extra. I'm Southern, but that sounds extra backwoods to me.
They just
personally.
feels like someone
apologize to
refused.
anybody who's from there.
Someone just refused to change the name. Like, no, we're going to keep that name. Yeah, but it's not yours. It is now.
Yeah. I mean, we have Texas City.
Oh, he's trying to look at him.
No.
Sorry, my skink is trying to catch this black soldier fly that's flying around.
That's going to be like National
What kind of
Geographic.
skink is it?
Emerald tree skinks.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Dude, he's keyed in on it.
Oh, it went right in front of his face a second ago. That fucker is it's gonna be like, you ever seen the video of the lava lizards that jump up and grab flies?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be that shit. Except he's probably gonna miss and then just fall to the bottom of the cage.
I was at Repticulture yesterday, and their big green iguana like jumped at the glass or something while I walked by. And I just hear this, and I look and he's sliding down the glass.
Well, I've already talked about how fucking stupid crested geckos are. We'll be sitting there watching TV, and all of a sudden you hear thud, and just crested gecko just decided to jump and do nothing and fall to the fucking bottom of the cage because they're stupid.
They're crested geckos.
Still don't understand how
They
they're
have like
species.
3 brain cells.
Don't know how they're alive. Anyways, back to Reptile Youth Alliance. I had questions and then we got sidetracked by.
We get sidetracked a lot. I don't know if you guys have listened to our podcast.
No,
It's sort of our stock and trade. At some point, we'll start talking about food tonight, and that'll be 5 or 10 minutes.
We can talk about food later.
Yeah.
So, anyways, spreading outside of Florida, have y'all have plans to try and get this? Because I mean, it definitely seems like something for us as a hobby that needs to be nationwide, right?
Right.
And
that's what we're promoting, and we want different chapters of it. So we're looking at it as kind of Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, but
Gotcha.
minus pedophiles. So we're going to need some background checks on UMFers if you want to be. But we want to, if you don't want to do a full chapter and you just want to be a mentor, we're definitely interested in mentors nationwide. And then we definitely are looking for other people. We've had a lot of interest out of state now that we've done our first convention to create that, because there's so many reptile keepers either have storefronts or reptile rooms, which would be conducive to having a reptile club. So
I promise we're listening. Just super interesting if this lizard grabs this fly in midair.
Yeah, I bred black soldier fly larvae, so I'm a little advanced past this stage, but I get it. You're in your infancy stage of the black soldier fly larva.
I had a whole cup of the larva a while back, and then I came in here for a podcast one night, and I was like, "What the fuck's that noise?" And I turned around, they had all hatched, so they went straight to the freezer.
Yeah.
I was not gonna have that thing open up in my house.
They're really good for composting, and they're really good for your garden. So if you're into gardening.
It really throws you off when you like black soldier fly. You think fly, and then you look at it and go, that does not look like a fly.
Right. That looks like it'll bite you.
Yeah.
But they don't.
No, they just.
Do you know why they're called black soldier fly?
Why?
Because they make the soil acidic so that no other flies come around. So they're
Interesting.
soldier flies. They ward off other flies.
Well, I need it to become food soon.
You're welcome. Yep. Stupid stuff you didn't want to know, but you know now.
This skink is super, like,
He's about it.
they were not so much about the larva. This thing flying around is like, no, I'm about this. I know they weren't about the larva because this fucker got out of the cup and hatched out in the Oh, we got it.
He got it.
He caught it in midair, flew.
Nice.
Fuck
Gone.
yeah.
It's
Sweet.
gone. It's dead.
No one else saw that, and it's horrible radio, but he got it. So we now move on.
You got to do better at commentating on that.
I know. I didn't do a really good play-by-play. I turned around and just happened to catch him.
Your play-by-play was a little.
I'll work on it next time. Maybe when Katie comes up, she'll bring crickets for the chameleon, and we do a play-by-play for the chameleon
There
thing.
you go.
Oh,
And next up to bat is Stripey. Oh, he's gone.
So one thing I think would be really good if y'all do chapters, there's a lot of like teachers and retired teachers that are also reptile people. Like retired teachers that are reptile people seem like they'd be great for something like this because they kind of fit in the whole wheelhouse of all of that. So
or current teachers. Jessica's a current teacher. I don't know why she chose middle school, but she decided to torture herself.
Fuck, that's gross.
That's
I
gotta be
know.
the
That's what I
Okay,
said.
this is actually, I think I like the middle school kids because no one likes them. That's why I like reptiles. No one likes them.
No. Middle school kids.
I like to make fun of them.
They smell bad.
No.
Oh, they don't know how to use deodorant and they just smell horrible. And then their hormones and
Well,
then
you teach what, freshmen and sophomores?
I teach freshmen. That's as close as you can get to middle
Yeah.
school that I'll be in middle school. But I just
What subject do you teach?
biology.
Okay, me too.
Oh, I cannot do middle school though. Just they're not humans.
No.
There's like a 3-year span where they quit being human.
My
Like
son's the best though. He cooks his own food. He makes the best food ever, and he wears deodorant. He's like super clean.
My
He's a
13-year-old's like
Libra,
that
so
too.
that's so fun. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Mine's 13. He won't leave the house if his hair's not fixed. Like he found out his sister was coming by a little while ago with her girlfriend and girlfriend's mom. And he's like, oh, okay. He let her run upstairs and fix his hair. And I'm like, bro, it's your sister. She's 8 years older than you. She's literally changed your diaper. It's okay. And he hates it when I say that. Your sister used to change. No, she didn't. Yeah, bro, she did. A lot.
I love watching your son get embarrassed
Oh,
because it's so many things embarrass him. It's hilarious.
Yes, everything.
I just embarrass my daughter. Yeah.
Every time I show him something I posted on Facebook when he was little, he's like, "Can you delete that?" Hell no, I'm gonna share it.
no.
I'm gonna share it.
Saving this shit for when you finally have a girlfriend.
Right.
Oh. Yeah, no, my daughter is 12, so she's in 7th grade. And she knows- I mean,
my son's 12. Yeah, my daughter's turning 9 this week or next week. So she is not the clean one though. She's a nightmare.
So speaking of my daughter, last week on the show we talked about the fact that we found out she had a YouTube channel, and I made the mistake of seeing how many followers she had versus our podcast. She has double the amount of followers our podcast has. I've been doing this podcast for now 177 episodes for like 3 years. My daughter has a stupid YouTube where she doesn't do shit but makes dumb little reel videos. She's got like 400 and something people. We have like 250. I mean, what the fuck? One of her videos has like 57,000 views.
Wow.
But I think that's just the music. I think whatever music she shows, some algorithm will like pump people there. But I'm like, the fuck?
That's funny.
So now you have a producer for your podcast, obviously.
Apparently, long format, somewhat
you need to
informative
hire her.
podcast is not the way. We need to do a 30-second podcast with no real content whatsoever, and then we'll be great.
Of course. And you call it Butts, and then you're good to go.
Right.
You ever seen the movie Idiocracy?
Yeah, I was about to say ass. The whole movie was called
Yeah.
Ass. Have you seen Idiocracy yet?
I've not seen it.
James, you have to
It's
watch
the
that.
future.
man.
It's now.
It is where we're headed, man.
I'm a teacher. I
Dude,
don't
you
have
know
to see that
what's so
shit. I see it
funny
every
is-
day.
Crocs gave them. No, they use in the movie. Everybody wears Crocs, but it was
Yep.
before Crocs got popular, and they literally picked Crocs because they're like, no one's gonna ever wear these ugly things.
Yeah. Mike Judge was on Joe Rogan about a year ago, and
Yes,
he's
it
like,
was so good.
he said, I did not realize I was writing a prophecy. He's like, I just was like, okay, what is the stupidest thing that could happen that'll never happen? And I just,
Ouch,
so
my
that's what
balls.
and now he's like, everything is happening
Did you ever see the movie
20
was it
years later.
Don't Look Up?
Oh, yeah.
That one also, I'm like, that feels real.
Yeah.
People would
No,
just
this
simply.
one's even realer because it's literally like a prophecy for the future.
Yeah.
That's
It
horrible.
really is.
Well, I
It's
always
so
tell people as a teacher, the scariest thing is I see the future and it's not fucking good.
It's
not
oh
good.
man, I've been in the schools for 8 years now, and I'm like, this is crazy. What's going on? And I work with elementary kids, and I'm like, what in the world is happening?
Oh, I blame their parents. So,
Of course.
so our buddy from Lizard Morph said, just peel the shed off of it. That's how he gets all his views. You just peel sheds off Bearded Dragons and people go fucking ape shit. And he gets a ton of views. So Luke's got tons of views on Instagram for just peeling sheds off of Bearded Dragons.
That's funny.
People
People yell at him.
people just yell at him, tell how he's a horrible fucking human being for peeling a shed off of a lizard that's already losing the skin.
The house next door to Russell's for rent.
Why are you looking at real estate?
I don't know. Because I could do two things at once. I'm having the conversation and I'm
Are
looking.
you though?
Absolutely.
Oh,
We were just talking about
Are you
idiocracy.
though?
He said 93 million.
You've redirected
93
us like 4 more times.
Hold on, wait.
Well, I do that a lot.
Hold on. Luke said 93. You have 93 million views total on a video or followers? I need to know what that 93 million is, because either way, that number seems ridiculously high.
Where we need screenshots.
I'm looking it up.
Is it because he shows his hot wife in the video? Because that'll definitely change it.
He has 170 subscribers.
He loves being told by some cat lady in Kansas how to care for native animals. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's not wrong. He does live in Australia with the bearded dragons.
I mean, all the videos he has, he's got a bunch of views.
93 million. He got 93 million on one reel.
Oh wow,
I've seen
crazy
because people lost their shit on him peeling skin off of a horrible lizard. Fucking idiots. It's his pinned reel on his Instagram. He's super proud of that one. Just that one reel.
That's crazy.
So we'll get back into some. I want to go over the question that, well, y'all proposed this question because we asked you for a question for this week, and we got some good answers. It was, if you could choose one lesser known reptile species to raise awareness about, which would it be and why? And there was a good one. Some people didn't get the why. I don't know why it is. Every time we ask a question, there's a why at the end. They just like ignore it and just put a random. Anyways, so one being Sean Gray from Herps. He did that too. Let's see. Jacob Adams said spider tail horn vipers. They're cool. I mean, I've never seen one in person. You only ever see the video of them wagging their tail and going, "That's a weird ass looking snake." So I'd like to know more about them. Sean Gray, who also did not apparently get the assignment, said true Berber skinks. I don't know why. He didn't tell me, so I don't know. Way to go, Sean. Way to drop the ball. Our buddy Jason Brumley, I agree with this one, and this is one I don't know why it's not more popular in the hobby, and it drives me nuts. But Angolan pythons, because they're absolutely awesome and completely underappreciated, and I agree. Angolan pythons are amazing, but everybody ends up thinking that they're ball python. Like, that's a ball python. I'm like, it's not a fucking ball python. Not even close.
Who do we have on that we interviewed at Arlington, and somebody said that because he does Angolans.
Is it the same person we forgot last time?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I know.
He was like,
I know. I've seen him.
He's like, I want to punch people when they say that.
It'll come to me halfway through this because we did last time. But I agree. Angolan pythons are a cool python.
He's just got one of those names that just won't stick in my head.
Lucas from over at the Retake Lounge said peacock monitors because they're awesome, small, and beautiful. A lot of the small monitor species I wish were bigger so that some of the bigger monitor species weren't as big.
I love dwarf monitors. I bred Gil and I for a long time.
I know. I love them. I wish they like everybody. I want a water monitor. I'm like, you don't want a water monitor. Stop that. Or like, I want an owl monitor. No, you don't. Get a fucking small monitor lizard. It does the same. Well, it won't slice you open. I want Kimberly Rock monitors. I love.
I got a rescue.
Who the name
Kimberly
we can't think of
monitor.
Has Kimberly Rock monitors, and we can't think of the name.
Dude, this is gonna drive me insane.
I know
I got it. I'm looking it up.
Fuck me. I'm chilling.
Yeah, I got one that was a rescue. It had like some kind of, I don't know if it was a papilloma virus, but it kept getting some kind of wart on it, and it came to me in pretty rough shape. And he did all right for about 6 months, and then he went downhill pretty quickly and passed away.
Damn.
Luke said he has Gillens.
Gil and I are awesome.
That
was the Kim that I had that we had to mess up the fung or the papilloma.
We get it, Luke. You can own cool Australian shit, but you know what? Try and get a corn snake.
Do both.
He can't get a corn snake because he's in Australia. Sucks to be you.
Oh yeah, shit.
He can't get anything. I say anything. He can get shingleback skinks, and he can get amazing blue tongue skinks, and he can fucking get a Parenti if he wants to. I just want to see a Parenti in person.
Oh, I did at Iguana Land.
Did you? Oh,
yeah, they're freaking beautiful. They're the best.
You didn't put his name in.
What?
You didn't put his name in the description of the show when we interviewed him either. You just put, we were talking about Michael Pinnell, Phil Goss, Norm Barrett, and Casey Cannon.
Did I not put?
You didn't put his name in there.
No, I think it's two different. Is it two different sets of interviews?
What about Funnell?
I think it's two different sets of interviews.
Oh, you got to scroll all the way back down there again.
Our friend Megan said Abronia. The cloud forest dragons of Central America. They're an endangered species on the verge of extinction due to habitat loss, illegal trade, poaching, and a very limited habitat range. The Dragon Conservation Project is focused on raising awareness for the species. I agree. Abronia are one of the prettiest lizards out there. It's like little tiny green dragons. They're amazing. Luke said he's sitting 2 feet from 2 lace monitors. Lace monitors don't do it for me.
Shut up. Don't be a hater.
Just don't do it for me.
I like them.
I love lace monitors. I
don't get the, it's like, especially don't get the obsession with Bell's face, but I think it's like with my wife. Everybody loves like black and white stuff or black stuff. I guess that's what it is. But I think
I like the bells, but I like the regular lace versus the bells.
so. I think the Kimberly rocks are so much cooler. They're like it's
They are
everything I
so
love
much
in a
cooler.
monitor, but they can fit in your
I
pocket.
had Pilbara. Pilbara were cool, but they
Those are
bite the
cool.
shit out of you.
Brett Bender.
Brett Bender.
Why can't I remember that?
Cannot
I'm gonna remember it. Bender.
Brett Bender.
Bender from
Brett Bender. Bender.
Yep.
Oh, so because I know what you're thinking. So Futurama has episodes out again on Hulu, and so we were playing Fortnite with my daughter last night. I was playing Fortnite, and you can get a Bender ray gun. And all I could think was yelling at kids, "Bite my shiny metal ass!" But everybody that watch Futurama,
Bender.
uh,
I was trying to figure out where you were going with that. And I was like, oh, Bender, Futurama.
Bender,
I get
Futurama,
it.
Yeah.
I put it together.
she made the circle. Ashley Howdy said earless monitors. They look prehistoric, similar to croc skinks in personality, though. They're cool, except for the fact they're not supposed to be here. And they've caused a lot of issue by being here legally. But they're a really cool lizard. Carl England said Woma pythons. Woma's cool. I mean, they'll eat fucking anything. By evidence by the video of the photo that went around like 2 years ago of it eating a snake hook. Nathan said tuataras. I agree, Nathan. Tuataras are amazing. And they have their own group of reptile. They're not a lizard. They're around at the age of dinosaurs. And
they are
there's like
awesome.
2 species in New Zealand, and no one ever knows about them.
I was
Literally.
going to say, whoever's seen one, though, that's one I would like to see.
Right.
Yes.
Every video is just him peeling skin off.
Oh, Luke. he's chasing that high, trying to get back to 93 million views.
They say don't peel bearded dragon. It hurts them. Jeez, you people.
Hey, Luke, have you tried peeling?
Thanks, Gary. This was fine to remove. We know our animals. Thank you.
Try peeling a monitor lizard, or try peeling blue tongue skink. Maybe you just got to change the animal. That's what it is.
That's hilarious.
Or like if your wife gets sunburned, peel some skin off your wife. That'll get you some views.
Yeah.
just trying to help you out, Luke. Just so you can get some views there. Anyways, Nathan's right. Tuataras are awesome. If anybody out there listening doesn't know what a tuatara is, look up tuatara. They're an unassuming animal because it's going to look like a weird little lizard, but it's not a lizard. They're awesome. Luke said, "Gotta peel them all."
Gotta peel them all.
Okay, Luke, we've got to make you a shirt of like peeling. It's got to look. Oh, I gotta figure it out. Like dress you up like Ash from Pokemon peeling a Charizard or something, and just got to peel them all. Fucking hilarious. Oh, Australians can't live with them. I'm gonna leave it there.
We want all their lizards.
I do want their lizards. Oh, that's good. Timothy, peel an adult scrub python. Go for that. That'll go well. Jeremy Harper said giant Madagascan hognose snakes or false water cobras. Neither are super rare, but there's a ton of misunderstanding and misinformation about them. Yeah, I mean, giant hognose kind of get big in the hobby just depending on who's in charge of the laws in Madagascar. So, like when the laws say, "Hey, you can export stuff," there's a shit ton of hognoses that come over to the U.S. And then when they close borders, we don't see them again. But those are cool. False water cobras, yeah, it's a big, slightly venomous snake that I think scares a lot of people. And it's a big snake.
Yeah, it is.
It's a big snake. Ash, I'm not gonna mess up. This was the one that you commented on because it's a snake you've been looking for. California mountain king snakes. She says, because as a Forest Service employee, I see so many of them getting killed by ignorant people who think they are killing a coral snake. I'd love to breed them, but they're not legal to sell and require a permit to keep here in California.
Not in Texas. We just
Do they have coral snakes out there in California? I guess so. I
don't think so.
don't think so. Do they?
I don't think they do.
I don't think they do either. So if people just kill them thinking they're coral snakes, they're not even from there.
No, the closest ones will be in Arizona.
That'd be like killing like a water snake in Wisconsin and going, "Oh no, it's cottonmouth."
Right.
Okay. So yeah, people are just dumb. Got it. Okay.
Well, that's
I knew
weird. That
Okay, I don't know what this one is, so I'm gonna have to copy and paste this and figure out what this animal is because they do. Chinese crocodile lizard. Oh, I've seen pictures of these
those
before.
are cool. Yeah.
That is a cool one. That came from Rick Nichols. That's a cool one. That's one you don't really see in the trade. Maybe it's a protected thing. It is Chinese, and a lot of the Chinese animals are protected. So but that's a cool one. So if y'all, okay, Savannah, if you had to pick one that you bill is underappreciated and it needs to be out there more, which one would it be?
Oh, I didn't make up this question. Jessica did.
I don't have an answer for this question either. I just wanted to see what other people thought.
I
On
didn't
the
even
spot.
think of one. Oh my gosh, that needs more. See, I don't know. I think that I feel like personally that's the really sad part of what we're facing is that every reptile that is in that position really should be on that list, because I feel like all reptiles are so overlooked. But my personal favorite is always the Florida gopher tortoise. I can't help myself. It's just
I
what
love
I grew up
gophers.
for, and I don't see them as much anymore. And them being a keystone species and it providing refuge for 320 other species is really big for me. I know that they're not like super rare yet, but they're getting there.
Yeah, gopher tortoises almost made me break a federal law. I found a gopher tortoise on my college campus in Alabama, in Troy, Alabama, and it was like smack dab in the middle of campus. And I knew what it was, and I grabbed it. And for a little point there, I was like, you know what, I could keep this. And I was like, nope, then I could never show anybody. And so then I took it out to some land that our college owned that had a whole bunch of gopher tortoise holes on it that was way out, away from everybody, and I let it go out there. But God, I wanted to keep that tortoise so bad.
Like me with the Texas tortoise a few weeks ago. I would love to have kept that thing.
Yeah, can't do that.
Can't do it. Nope. It had to go to a preserve.
Yeah. All right, Jessica, you had time.
Well, actually, like I just kind of want more attention brought for like native, just like you were talking about with the coral snake. There's not even one there. I don't understand why kids are not taught to at least be able to identify. Like, why is that not part of our curriculum, to be able to identify the common snakes in your area?
Yeah.
Because we see that so often here. Like, I mean, I can't even tell you how many people send me pictures of dead snakes, and they're like, "Oh, what kind of snake was this that I killed?" I'm like, "What does it
All
matter?
the
You
time.
killed it already." So, like, what?
All the time.
So I don't understand why that's not really something that's taught at a young age. If you live amongst these animals, why are you not taught to identify at least the ones that are the most common?
So that's funny that I had someone on my friends list say something about post that stupid fucking picture of the copperhead with all the babies that were also dead next to it that gets posted every
I
time.
sent that like 2 times in the last 2 days.
Anyway, they posted that, and then someone said on their thing said that they have rattle pilots snakes, and they are very poisonous, and they're littler than a pencil. And I'm like, what the fuck is that?
How did you even make that up? That's what I don't understand.
Then-
How do people even come up with that?
So my friend said, the friend that she commented on there said that she's referring to most likely pygmy rattlesnakes. I was like,
Yeah.
First off, I've never heard that name. And second off, most of what you're seeing as a pygmy rattlesnake is not a fucking rattlesnake.
Yeah.
Right.
How many people actually find pygmy rattlesnakes?
Well, my 10th grade geometry teacher posted that the other day. It was like, good information, everybody. And then a couple people had already commented. And one lady was like, yeah, we killed 3 water moccasins in our yard this week. And she posted a picture, and I'm like, those are 3 plain belly water snakes. Were 3 plain belly water snakes. They're completely harmless. But every time you kill one, you open up a spot for a water moccasin and move right in there.
Yeah.
And,
It's really just ignorance too, because I mean, one of the kids, actually our winner for the Reptile Youth Alliance, he's 9 years old, and he did his project on like the danger of reptiles. Are they as dangerous as we think? And he had a lot of good like comparisons on there. And my favorite one, I can't remember which animal he paired with it, but it was a cell phone, of how many people die from selfies. And because the excuse you get all the time are, oh, well, I have kids, so I can't take that risk of letting the snake be in the yard because of the kids. But I'm like, well, you let your kids get in cars. You let your kids use cell phones. Like, why are you not teaching the same kind of respect with these animals that you do with everything else?
yeah.
Well, the odds are that a stray dog will wander into your yard and attack your kid before a snake will.
Absolutely.
Or a squirrel. Our squirrels are super aggressive here.
But you fucking tell someone that, and they just, again, you've got to get to them when they're young and convince them when they're young, like y'all are doing. It's you know, so we do a lot of shows, reptile shows, especially with Robert. He vends a lot of shows, and there's a ton of vendors out there. I say a ton. There more than should be vendors out there that don't like when kids are around. Like, they don't like kids coming to shows. They don't like it. But I'm like, that this is your chance to try and fix the dumbass adult that just came by and said the stupid shit to you.
Yeah.
Like, you can try and make sure that this kid doesn't become that dumbass adult. Like, be be a useful part of the hobby and educate them. Yeah, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of fucking annoying kids. And again, I'm a parent and a teacher. I know kids are fucking annoying, and sometimes you just gotta like tell them to go away. But yeah, try and up the ones you can. They're not all bad. You gotta get to them early, or else they start saying things like fucking whatever pilots, whatever Pontius Pilot snake. I don't know what the fuck they saw in their yard, but
I've had a couple people lately try to convince
or
me.
whatever bull crap that is.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Joe Rogan. There was a guy that was on there that did bat conservation, and he got a lot of flack because he used to go off with the poachers, and he ended up really coming to their senses and real. I mean, that's the whole thing is that people hate that because they want to hate it. It's because they've been instilled this, and even like destruction of the land and destruction of the animals. I think if people really understood what they were doing and how they were harming themselves, because let's be frank, people only really care about themselves. I think then they can really see how these animals benefit them. So when I'm talking to adults, I try to bring up Ozempic as a good one that I bring up. That's the new diabetes drug that all the famous ladies are getting really skinny on. And that is a synthesized peptide found in Gila monster venom. We also talk about like cancer markers, like the genetic cancer marker we found in leopard geckos they can now test for. Talk about axolotls and regenerative property and being able to regenerate.
Yeah, but they're fucking aliens. Those aren't animals. Those are fucking aliens.
And our government has confirmed that we have aliens.
Those are the aliens.
Well, one of our kids did a project on and she's only 8, and she did this project. It was so cute, and it was on like how aliens might have the same characteristics as reptiles. It was really cute, and I thought it was so innovative.
See, I think there's a reason axolotls are only found in one lake in Mexico. It's because that's where they crash landed.
Yeah. They're in underwater estuaries, a few.
She found photos of reptiles that look like aliens.
Well, there's the thing that gets me is there's that whole thing where they did a scientific thing where they cut the head off of one, sewed it onto the body of another, and it rewired the nervous system to that head.
Yeah,
of course. Duh.
Fucking
I
weird.
like that one. I'm gonna have to use that one. The kids will freak out. That's a zombie axolotl.
Yeah.
Well, so, I think the whole thing is we try to kind of, we try to see where we can find common ground. Is it showing how reptiles benefit your life scientifically, or how they affect the environment around you and other animals you might like? So we're not asking people to say, hey, you should have a pet snake. We're just asking people to say, hey, we understand how these animals are beneficial and make an impact on our environment and on us, and how, like Jessica was saying, lack of funding is really hurting conservation in reptiles and in research in reptiles. They get totally overlooked and overshadowed, and you can't, like Jessica said, you can't even add any of these animals to endangered species list unless there are studies done on them. And if there's no money for these studies, then you can't prove the lack of population or the decline of population. And so your studies aren't accurate, and you aren't able to get the resources and the funding and even just like the name itself as an endangered species because of lack of funding.
Yeah, my favorite one is the Eastern Diamondback. That's my favorite species ever. And it was petitioned in like 2012 to be added to the threatened species list. And then FWC did an assessment from 2013 to 2016, so 3 years. But for the Eastern Diamond, they did it on 4 snakes, but for the Eastern Diamondback, they did not require pictures from citizens who reported sightings of the Eastern Diamondback. And their reasoning was they thought that most people can identify a rattlesnake, but that is not true at all. I mean, it could be true if it was an adult, like out in the middle of the road and they can see the rattle, but like a baby or a juvenile, like where you could just see part of the snake, most people. I mean,
Is my mic okay? Good. I don't know. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. James knocked his mic off. I don't know if y'all can see him over there. Like literally just dropped it. So you guys are doing great. Y'all are doing great carrying the show right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, like if that data I don't even think is accurate to begin with, but even if it was accurate, the assessment ended in 2016 and it's still under review. So Florida changes with development, and we're developing so quickly in Florida. Even if that data was accurate, it's not relevant anymore. So, and I feel like reptiles, that happens with a lot of reptiles.
Well, my problem, and it goes back to something like we talked about the AZA earlier. Some conservation moves have led to what I think detrimental aspect of trying to save animals. Like go Fiji banded iguanas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our country's like, we cannot bring Fiji banded iguanas into the country. Well, fuck, if we just bred the ones here, we could fix, like, that wouldn't be a problem. Like, we could bring those, or so I have Louisiana pine snakes. Louisiana pine snakes are protected. And AZA zoos, there were a handful of them. We were one at one point, and then they took them away from us anyways. If you were to put those pine snakes in the hands of several breeders,
Yeah,
they would do so much. I'm not saying the zoos aren't breeding some, they're doing well, but there are breeders that would have done so much better and produced so many more because they can do that.
Yeah.
We talked to Mike Safani from Mike's Monitors.
Yeah.
He's been really such a good guy for the Reptile Youth Alliance. He's so helpful. And he did a video for some of our kids. And that was one thing he said. You know, he's been breeding monitors, and he said the problem with a lot of zoos is they have to. He gave an example of a zookeeper who posted and said that I can't remember what kind of monitor. I'm not a monitor girl. I like snakes. Was really like they couldn't get it to eat, and he's like, well, this is what you need to do. You need to dip a pinky in some egg yolk, and that monitor will eat. And the zookeeper's like, oh, okay, but I have to run it by my board first, and they have to approve it. And Mike's like, well, that animal doesn't have time for that. Like, it's going to die. And I think with private keepers, like, there are private keepers who dedicate themselves to just one animal. Whereas in a zoo, like, it's not that way. There's the zookeepers have to work with usually several different types of animals, and it has to go from one person to another person to another person. And I think that the care, when you're dealing with such specialized species like reptiles, gets kind of lost in the notes. So
if I have a question about, say, coyotes, I'm going to either Brittany, Reed, or Dave.
Yeah.
I'm not calling it a zoo.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to these people that I know that have dedicated themselves to this species.
Well, like I said,
if I have a question about breeding Louisiana pine snakes, we're going and knocking on what's
fair breed. Look, the guy I got my Louisiana pine snakes from is great at it, and the state wouldn't let him breed pine snakes for them to release because that was the whole thing. The zoos were breeding them, and then they released them in Louisiana, but they won't know the blood and this and that. And like, Theron can tell you what road he picked up that parent or grandparent 20 years ago when it was legal. He can tell you where it came from.
Yeah.
But they won't, they want to follow a certain paperwork for certain bloodlines. And you can do that in captivity. And look, it's not just zoos. Like, I'm not bad mouthing zoos because I love zoos and I used to work for zoos. It's also the fucking hobby because we talk about all the time with Bolins. We have fucked ourselves out of trying to breed Bolins by pricing them at fucking 10 grand a piece. Right? No one can afford to have a breeding collection of Bolins to try and produce Bolins because you can't afford 40 grand for 2 pair. Like, so we've got to just get smarter about that shit.
Yeah. Well, another one we talked to is Matt Baranak, and he works in with Disney, right? Wasn't it Disney that he worked with, Jessica, at the conference? Yeah. He worked with. He has the largest Gecko collection, and he was saying that it wasn't even like it. He had to actually go to the nutritionist, so it wasn't even the vet that could change the diet. It was the nutritionist. So you've got 3 different working parts that all have to come together and have to unlock at the same time to be able to change things. And you're also talking about people who are caring for animals in shifts versus being able to see their behavior, 24/7, or be able to watch the different, the different nuances of their behaviors. So, is it their hands are tied? It's the bureaucracy in it that gets in the way a lot of times.
And I'm not saying their vets are bad, but look, their vet may be an exotic vet, but that vet doesn't have 20 years experience taking care of that animal and know the little things and tricks here that, it may not be in some paper somewhere published, but
because we're like the San Antonio Zoo is lucky because they have a vet who knows that. But that's not the norm.
But like if you're talking to Mike about monitors, he's got decades of experience with monitors. He can give you the tricks to do stuff that a zoo may go, well,
like dip it in an egg yolk.
Yeah. other
Yeah,
zoos don't do that. Well,
People are willing to help too. Like, I mean, a lot of the people that we know are so willing to help if they could just be utilized, but they're not utilized, which is unfortunate.
yeah, I have a problem with the AZA. Look, I appreciate AZA zoos having certain standards because there are definitely some non-AZA zoos that should not be fucking open. I've been to some and they're horrible, but the amount of red tape there on some of that stuff is just ridiculous. And like I said, when it comes to reptiles, because some of those things are in some collection somewhere as a hobby, like we have figured out how to do that. And again, a lot of the legalities and other things, like look, so if we want to go with animals that need to have more, that I think should be more talked about, I'll say mine, and that's Chinese alligators. I fucking love Chinese alligators. I think that people are always amazed when they find out there's another alligator out there that's not the American alligator.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Chinese alligator, I think as a pet, look, if we want to keep crocodilians as pets, stop all the other ones. Chinese alligators are perfect.
Yeah.
They're fairly calm. They're smaller. They're much easier to take care of. But you can't fucking own one. Can't.
Nope.
Even though down the road at the zoo down from the road from us, there's like 40 of them, and I just want one of them. I got just one. I tried. Look, we got a behind the scenes thing, and nobody would throw one in a purse for me. I tried my hardest. I've worked with Chinese alligators before, and I fucking love them. But again, that's a legality thing that we can't do this and that. You know, the Abronia, that's another one. Yeah, Abronia have been illegally in the trade and all that. But if we could get some in legally, there are plenty of keepers out there that could probably breed them and get us a good stock of them in the country. And, just pain in the ass. So hopefully with things like with y'all with the Reptile Youth Alliance, you can, it may not change, unfortunately, in our generation, but hopefully it can get better in future generations.
That's what we're
it's going to take people like you guys to do that.
I think it will make a change in our generation as well, too, because the children have impact on their families. And we see a lot of people who wouldn't necessarily keep reptiles, but because their child is obsessed or love, and they see their passion for the animals.
They see how it overlaps with science and genetics and all kinds of stuff. That really, I think, pulls the parents in too, because if they care about their kids, academic success, and they see, wow, my kid now knows a whole lot about genetics because he's really into ball pythons or leopard geckos. That kind of wins parents over as well.
Well, like my wife, who apparently is not coming up here at any point, even though 7:30 is what she told me, she's taught 3rd grade, but she's not teaching 4th grade this year. But she has a corn snake in her room and a crested gecko in her room and a fat-tailed gecko in her room and a box turtle in her room. And like she's had students go, we've seen them at reptile shows, come and get their first pet reptile. And so that kind of stuff is really cool to be able to see these kids. And one thing we talk about at shows, you're starting to see more and more families showing up buying their first pet. Not so many of the tattooed weirdos that we normally know. It's these.
We like them too.
We like them too, yeah. No, but it's these suburban families because the tattooed weirdos aren't the ones that are going to change the laws. Unfortunately, it's going to be these suburban families that look quote unquote normal, that do have a bearded dragon or do have a crested gecko or do have whatever. Those are going to change.
Kim Kardashian has a bearded gecko. Or a bearded gecko.
Bearded gecko.
Sorry, I'm on cold medicine.
She's probably typed that somewhere, Kim Kardashian.
Not that we want to like totally promote, whatever. Coyote Peterson was on an episode of The Kardashians. So,
gross.
I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad. They're both gross, but they both have huge followings. So,
As
long as the kids like leopard geckos, that's all I care about.
Where you can get it.
She didn't balance on her booty, though. I was waiting for that.
That would have gotten more than the 93 million views that Luke got.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the next pulling shed video on the booty.
I wish we had a better. Look, I also used to work at PetSmart at one point and big box retail pet stores. I wish we'd do a better job of having the right reptiles for sale. There are plenty of great first reptiles. Look, I like bearded dragons. They're not a good first reptile. No. They're just not. The setup for one is horrible.
I was in ours yesterday. Today, they have a blood python.
Horrible first. It's not a good first pet.
Yeah, and it looks horrible. Like I thought about seeing if I could get them to give it to me, but then I was like, I don't want another blood python. I had one before and I didn't like it.
No,
but I'm gonna go back in a few days, and if it's still there, I'm gonna see if
Every time I see
I won't keep it, but I'll find somebody that'll.
well, every time I see a chameleon in one of those,
Yeah.
or I see like I went into Pet Supplies Plus around here one day and they had like 5 bearded dragons. I'm like, fuck, that's gonna be 5 lizards that are probably not gonna make it to adulthood. You know, that sounds bad, and we want to hope that everybody knows how to take care of them. But and again, you see bearded dragons all the time because we as a hobby tend to put them out there as a great beginner pet. But those of us that really keep stuff know that they're not. They're fine if you have the setup.
They end up with someone like my cousin who thinks it's cute that her daughter was swinging their bearded dragon on the swing the other day in the backyard. And when I told her, I was like, hey, that she's like, well, it seems to like it.
How do you know?
Like, I'm like, I don't think it does.
Where'd you get your degree in animal behavior?
Beard was all black, and I'm like, those are all signs that it is not happy.
You know, fat tail geckos, great first pet. Leopard geckos, pretty good first pet. I think false Cuban anoles would be
Cuban false
great.
chameleons are my favorite.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I love that.
Violas.
Yeah.
Those would be so much better sold than panther chameleon or than veiled chameleons.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So much better. And they're slower moving. They're not as they're
Yeah.
calm. They're going to survive the horrible keeping you're probably going to do for the first month. But
Yep.
we don't sell those. We sell. Everybody goes, no, I want a chameleon. I'm like, but you don't. Fuck, I didn't want this chameleon until they
Nope.
fucking tricked me into buying it.
And now you're obsessed with it.
It is a really cool chameleon.
Yeah.
But
That's how Jessica and I met. I used to breed panther chameleons, and Jessica bought panther chameleons wholesale for her shop years ago.
we have some friends that breed panther chameleons here in Texas, and they tricked me into getting this one. It's awesome. I love it. But
They're
so you bred panther chameleons. That may be the worst part of this hobby, people wise. The panther chameleon
Panther
community.
chameleon people,
Oh my god, fucking horrible.
they're horrible.
I joined
Oh
a
my
couple of
God.
groups. It took me
They're
like
awful.
10 minutes to get banned from a group.
Yeah.
I had a block. What is it? Everybody likes that Peter guy, the one guy.
Yeah.
He's such an idiot. He's never kept
Yes.
anything in captivity. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. And he's never been successful.
Oh.
He's seen things in the wild. And I'm like, why are we implementing animals that pretty much, he's going over veiled chameleons that typically live a season in the wild and die off during the dry season.
Lee and Amanda Reddy would love you right now.
Yes.
Oh,
They're
I
not,
can't
the
stand
one night
that.
they're not in the chat.
So I
And
posted a picture
you
of
know
my
what
kid.
it is it's the one jerk that has 2 chameleons that holds him back and is like, this is my 3-month-old. And I'm like, no way. I'm like, well, do you have more than 2? How is that a 3-month-old? You know,
Well,
or
so-
arguing like growth rates are different. I mean, it's just insane. But yeah,
I posted
they're the
one
heartbreakers
picture.
of the reptile world. Ugh.
I posted one picture of my enclosure after I finished it, not asking for any tips, nothing. Simply posted it. It's got fake plants in it, and they fucking killed me.
Oh, you should deserve to die now because it's
But I
going
was
to eat
like-
it. It's going to die.
Yeah, it's gonna
No,
eat it
you
and
know what
die.
they
I'm
got
like,
me? I was taking photos of babies. A friend of mine was actually making these driftwood plants that you could put in the enclosure with some live bromeliads on it. So I figured the waters would pool. They could drink out of the bromeliad.
yeah.
I was trying to highlight the chameleon, so I didn't have pothos. I always suggest every customer get a pothos, put it in the back. It'll vine up around it, and then they'll have more room. They complained that the plants weren't from Madagascar and there wasn't enough foliage. And they're like, when we don't see lighting, I'm like, well, I'm outside in Florida at a flea market, so I'm pretty sure they don't need a heat lamp.
Oh. It's just,
Yeah, they're the worst.
it's insane, but it's only like a small handful. They're just in every group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Same way with ball python groups and
Yeah.
hognose groups. It's the same. The chameleons were worse though,
it was
because I
So
went and
they're
joined the
the other
groups just to see
That's quite true.
and to talk shit and get kicked out, and it worked.
yeah. Like they
I've
freaked the fuck-
I've heard hamster groups are the worst. That's
Well,
Any rodent.
what I saw in one of the chameleon groups is the other day, and I couldn't help but comment because it was I am not a fan of people that speak in absolutes. You speak in absolutes, it proves to me you absolutely know nothing. It's but they went on this big long thing, and it said in there, you should never buy from a breeder if they say I've been doing this for 20 years and it works, or I've been doing it the same way for the last 20 years. And I was like, so you're saying I should not buy from a breeder that is successful? And they're like, well,
Yeah.
things have changed in chameleon care in the last decade. Yada, yada. I'm like, but they're successful. And you're telling me I shouldn't buy from. What kind of idiotic statement is that to say, like, what if what they were doing 20 years ago was fine? It's great. The animals are, and they're still what they're doing now is fine.
Yeah. They've created all these new rules that don't even matter. I mean, the things that they're putting out there are these crazy I mean, it's like you got to do like CrossFit 5 times and light a candle and sacrifice a lamb. And
well, they argue over when
to be fine.
They argue over when to water your chameleon. Like, what kind of fucking argument is that? Just fucking.
You're saying like fog at night. I'm like, why would your animal want to be fogged at night? Like, in what circumstances? When moisture grows bacteria in darkness, why are we fogging? Because it's just in the middle of the night while it's sleeping. It's like, let me lick this dew off this plant. Come on.
Pretty sure they just drink when they're thirsty.
But I just love when they would badmouth like the people I got it from. And I know Lee and Amanda. I'm like, yeah, you don't know these breeders? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, I blocked all those groups and I decided just to not sell to anybody in those groups. And the thing was, is they were always trying to dick you down on price. And it's like, you know what it takes to care for these animals. I mean, I literally lost 30 babies once. I had them out in their, I had their bin out in the sun, sunning them for like 30 minutes, came back and ants had gotten in the bin and eaten them all alive. I mean, this is 3 years of work. You know, it takes 6 months to 14 months to incubate in an egg. You know, you've got like what, a 3-year lifespan, 4-year lifespan on a female if she's actually like producing a lot of eggs, and then you've lost it all on some ants. So, you know, somebody trying to get one for $125 is kind of like, nah, I don't think so.
Well, and panther chameleons are the only animal I've seen. Well, tortoises too, sulcatas, where that people try to sell eggs.
Yeah,
do sell eggs, and it's like I understood that it was, you know, wrong and that's not great. And then when they got their panther chameleon, Lee and Amanda gave them the bag with the egg in it. And I'm like, the egg is that small and they're selling that to people to hatch and they have to take care of that tiny chameleon?
Yeah.
What the fuck? What?
So it's like a couple of Tic Tacs large.
Breeding fruit flies for your chameleon.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead, find pinhead crickets when that thing hatches like that.
Yeah, because you don't know when it's going to hatch either. It's just because it could be a year, or could be
when you forget about it on a shelf somewhere.
Knowing how hard it is to take care of panther babies, I would say probably 95% of those eggs die.
Oh yeah,
and I think that's the whole point of it. Because
the breeder made their money.
Really experience, it's very difficult. Babies are a lot different to care for than adults. All of the same care information that they give you for adults is almost the exact opposite of what you do for babies. You know, you don't want
almost a year old when we got it.
Their babies, they'll dry out.
Yeah, ours was almost a year old. Like it was like just looking at the size of a baby and how delicate they look at a baby, and then what we got, and I was like, yeah, no, I would not. That's why I cursed them. I was like, I'm not doing it because we had bad experience buying veiled like almost 20 years ago. Way too small. We found out later they were way too fucking, $20 veiled chameleons, and they were like just past hatchling. And I was like, not doing chameleons. And then Lee and Amanda talked us into it. And like I said, I love this one, and it has not choked on any plastic plants yet. So
no, and I think that would be more common with like a veiled, because veileds do eat greenery, but panthers are not that common.
That was the thing. Everyone's like, they'll eat them, and every picture someone tried to show of a chameleon eating greens was a veiled. I'm like, y'all do realize I have a panther chameleon? And then we talked to Dr. Koch from San Antonio Zoo, and he said, yeah, if your panther's eating plastic plants and eating plants, there's something missing in the diet. That's not normal for them to do that. I mean,
yes.
So, anyways,
it's the good old mealworm, chewed through the stomach,
I've never seen the picture of that. Never. That's one of those things that superworms will eat through your. Okay, well, I just need to see a picture. There's got to be a picture somewhere. That's like your person in the neighborhood that said there were bears in the front yard of your neighborhood. Then take a picture.
Yeah, we live south of Houston. A few weeks ago, we actually had someone in my neighborhood. Everybody's heard this that listens regularly, so I'm gonna make it really short. Her husband called her and said, I opened the front door just now, and there were 2 bears walking down the road with 2 dogs.
Yeah, with 2 dogs.
And I closed the door and grabbed my pistol, and when I opened it, the bear was trying to get in the house, and I thought I was going to shoot through the door. She was off somewhere house sitting for somebody. I think he was playing a joke on her and didn't realize she was going to go post this big long thing on our everyone beware bears in our neighborhood.
We don't have bears,
but then it got into these people arguing with me, telling me, well, we have bears in Texas. And I'm like, yes, 500 miles away in the Trans-Pecos, and then like 350 miles away on the Red River, the very northeast border of Texas. Well, they roam. I'm like, they don't fucking roam to south of. And then the best part was this one guy really thought he had me. He's like, he posted, here's a link to bears found south of Houston. And I'm like, that's Houston, Tennessee. And then he posted like 3 more. And I'm like, bro, that's Houston, Tennessee in the Smoky Mountains where bears fucking live. And then I was a bully. I always end up being called a bully for telling
facts.
Yeah.
People can't handle facts nowadays. That's too much.
No, because everybody feels their opinion is all that matters. Because the problem is, and look, I blame my parents and my generation, and so the whole everyone's opinion matters. Not really. You can have your own opinion. That is a 100% fact. You can have your own opinion.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't always fucking matter, and it doesn't always make you right. Like it's. And so that's the problem we live in. Everybody, if you disagree with somebody, you're a jerk. I'm like, well, no, you're just wrong, and you can't accept that you're wrong. Darren Watson says, do we have wolves in Texas? We did until we killed them all. And then now we have coyotes, and people want to go, coyotes are here. Well, no shit. You killed the wolves.
Yeah.
My dad said, I never told you that your opinion mattered. That's true. That's true. Way to get, thanks, Dad. Great parenting there. That's true.
That's good parenting. Yeah.
Anyways, that's off of my soapbox of stupid shit. I wanted to see. I do want to go over some of the stuff over on our discussion page. Pull that out. So I'm gonna do what Chris. I'm gonna make sure I do this so that Chris Eaton doesn't yell at me for talking about shit that's not on the screen, because he always wants to talk shit because I don't put stuff on the screen.
I just renewed my StreamYard permissions.
I saw your name didn't show up.
It's like 15 steps to go tell it yes.
Also, anybody out there that listens to Snakes and the Fat Man, like I'm not one to pray because that's a different conversation for anything else. But send thoughts, and if you want to message Chris Eaton, he's going through some stuff right now. He's posted it on Facebook, so I don't feel bad talking about it. But
and he's literally one of the best people you could hope to know.
He is. If you've listened to Snakes and the Fat Man, you're like, he's probably a jerk. He's really not. The guy you hear on Snakes and the Fat Man is not. That's Snakes and the Fat Man. Chris Eaton is an amazing person.
Stern character. That's what I think it is. That's what it reminds me of. And I love Howard Stern. I like that whole shtick.
Yep.
So hopefully he's gonna pull through everything. Great. And I won't have to make wheelchair jokes about him for the rest of his life. But if that happens, I'll make sure to make some.
You already started, so don't pretend that like you haven't.
Yeah, but we weren't live when he did that. That was just us.
Well, he's brought it on himself at this point, so it's fine.
And he'll laugh and he'll make it himself. I don't know if he'd do that right now, but
But so warm thoughts out there for Chris Eaton. But here I put on the screens the things that we have that got over in our discussion group. Cynthia Cortez posted this. It was breaking news. Scientists are astounded by the discovery of a 140 million year old fossil of an ancient 4-legged snake species in Brazil. That's cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, those that don't know, snakes and lizards are in the same group. They're both squaw mates, and they were related. And if you've ever owned a ball python or a boa and you saw the little spurs on the back of their body, those are remnants of legs. Those at the pelvic girdle, there were legs there at one point. That's a lot like whales. Like people are always amazed to find out that whales have hip bones. Yeah. My kids, every time I tell them that, they start to picture a whale with legs. I'm like, no, fuckers. I don't say fuckers to them, but I think it. They want to picture a whale with legs. I'm like, that's not what it was. It's not what it was. Oh yes, Luke, pirate jokes. Oh, we're still making pirate jokes. If he loses a leg, it's happening. Anyways, Nathan Holcomb is it's a little alligator. Someone fucking with a big. It's people fucking with. It's Florida. You know what? Y'all live in Florida. Y'all understand.
Don't blame Florida. It's probably some transplant. You guys Florida. Are dealing with the same thing in Texas.
No, our people in Texas want to go alligators. I didn't know we had alligators.
Yeah.
They didn't show up until the hurricanes brought them here.
Our friend Megan, who lives 10 minutes south of us, she runs an organization. Well, her business, I guess, Lone Star Snakes, and then she relocates and does educational stuff. Like you guys would actually probably get along really well because she does a bunch of educational stuff. Anyway, and she puts on the World Reptile Day. We did it last year in October and did it again this year. A big event. It was a lot bigger last year than I expected.
Yeah, it's good.
Even bigger this year. in her neighborhood group, some lady was trying to tell her the alligators didn't live in Texas until Hurricane Harvey in 2017 when it flooded and they all swam in here.
Yeah, that's when we got them.
Yeah. And I'm like,
That's when they showed up in every single body of water in East Texas.
Yeah. Yeah. So, because the lady had never seen them before then, so that meant they didn't exist here.
Of course not.
But my dad said, I'm going to build a house where alligators live and then bitch about them being there.
Right.
That's here.
That's
I
yeah.
got into an argument with a lady just recently on a post about gators, and she was trying to tell me that the gators were responsible for the panther mortality. And I was like, and I just happened to get like panther mortality report sent to my email. I was like screenshotting them. I'm like, oh,
you're like, no, it's cars.
It cannot possibly be roads and loss of habitat.
Yeah.
That cannot be it.
I'm
It
like,
must
I
be
don't
the.
see any gators in the last 50 reports here. So
It must be the animal that's been here for millions of years.
I just watched a few weeks ago. I think it was on Amazon Prime Video. It was or might have been on Disney Plus. It's about like a documentary about Florida Panthers, and it's super interesting. But yeah, almost every one of them, the mortality was cars.
Yep.
Almost everyone.
So what happens when you build roads through everywhere they live?
Yeah.
It's crazy
Well,
how
that's
that
what happens when your Florida Department of Wildlife commissioners are land developers. So
yeah.
Like I asked this, why would land developers want to be wildlife commissioners? And it's not a bipartisan issue. I mean, it is a bipartisan issue. It doesn't matter what party is elected. Those are appointed officials because of money.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's unrelated but related. So I still follow my old school district in Louisiana, and they had a vote tonight, the school board meeting, if they were going to allow students to dye their hair. Background on me, when I was in high school, I did a stupid thing. My dad's in the chat. He'll make fun of me, but this is the one time I was very surprised he stood up for me. I dyed my hair lime green. Actually, it was lime green highlights. It wasn't even all my hair. It was just highlights that were bright lime green. And I got suspended. And my dad, they sent me the ISS. My dad had to come to the school. And my dad called me fucking stupid for doing it. But came to school.
Because you were?
Yeah, it's fine. He came to school and he defended me to the principal. He's like, what's the purpose? Because there were girls walking around with fake hair that was colored purple and blue.
Sure.
And he wouldn't touch that. But so my dad defended me on that one. They ended up sending me to get my hair dyed at we had a beautician school like what your daughter went to, but on our campus. And they dyed my hair to a natural color, which by the way was carrot top orange. So went from green highlights, because their argument was the green highlights are distracting in class.
Yeah.
I'm like, I look like carrot top now. What this is fucking distracting.
Right. I'm gonna walk around my box of props.
This fucking backfired on y'all bad.
Right.
But to them it was a natural
It's
color.
like when they make girls, their shorts can't be above the knee because it distracts the boys. Maybe teach the boys not to be pervs. I don't know.
It can be above. Now, as a teacher, above the knee is one thing. Just below the crotch is a completely different thing.
Yeah. I mean,
but
there has to be some decorum.
So the school district that I left in Texas, but the school district, they had a vote, and it won by 5-4. And one of the guys arguing it on the board is a fucking moron. Just like with the land of he shouldn't be on an education board. He has no idea what's happening in a school. He's making decisions for a school, and his whole thing was that basically by not allowing them to dye their hair, it will fix behavior issues.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? Because and bullying. By not dyeing their hair, it'll fix bullying issues as well. Because the ones that dye their hair are the assholes that are picking on people. But I was like, just shut the fuck up. Like, if that's your biggest problem is that they dyed their hair, at least they showed up to school. That's my problem. I just need them there. So, I think actually, in reality, we've reached a point where we probably as a society should not give a shit what color people's hair is. We grew up in an age where, like, if you work a job, you got to look a certain way. And I still I dress a certain way because I'm a teacher and I want to. But like, I've got teacher friends who have tattoos, and so many of them have to cover their tattoos up at work. I'm like, the fuck? Really? Why? We need to normalize some of these things. And blue hair, just normalize. Fucking, it's not changing the part. Like, they're a functioning person.
The sheriff's office that I used to work for, if you have visible tattoos, these guys are out here in the middle of summer directing traffic on a freeway in long sleeve polyester uniforms, and they're one of the only departments now that's making them cover tattoos still. I just saw where Slidell PD now they wouldn't even hire an officer with if you had a visible tattoo, you couldn't get hired, and they're like, shit, we can't find any police officers. Okay, you can have tattoos now.
Yeah.
So because a friend of mine, he's my size, works for the sheriff's office, and I see him out there, and long sleeves, and I'm like, dude, he's gonna die. It's 195 degrees out
Look,
there.
I get it. If it's an offensive tattoo cover, but if it's just a fucking tattoo.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that the whole going back to the land developers shouldn't be in charge. This person shouldn't be in charge of a school board. That's the kind of thing about that guy. Just like people just making decisions about stuff they don't understand.
I think that's politics in general. It's funny because I have family members from a small town, and they were talking about this guy that just got elected, and he was like, one of my aunts was his tutor, and she said he couldn't even pass his math class. You know, the kid's a total moron, and now you've got him in charge of all the. You know, you're like, what position did you put him in? I'm like, well, I guess he must be easily manipulated by somebody.
Yeah, it's crazy how that shit works. Anyways, back to some of the things over here. We'll go back to some happier stuff. Texas Carpet Fest. So they used to have Southern Carpet Fest, and it was held in Texas. And because if you listen to Morelia Python Radio, they've had Northeast Carpet Fest. I think they're going on number 10, maybe 11. I can't remember what it is now. And they used to have Southern Carpet Fest. It was in Texas, and it went away for a while. Well, they're bringing back Texas Carpet Fest this year. We may have to go over there and get like a hotel room and go to it.
I think I have a show that weekend.
Okay, you may have a show. I may have to go over there by myself because I think Katie's busy too.
October 14th.
But it's going to be in Reptilandia.
I know. No, I don't have a show that weekend.
Sweet, we can go. So
on my calendar right now. It's
going to be in Reptilandia in Johnson City on Saturday, October 14th from 2 to 11. Do not bring an animal. Don't 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 do it. Don't bring an animal. You're going to a zoo. Don't fucking bring it. It's the same as what drives me nuts when you go to a reptile show and someone comes to a reptile show with their animal. Why the fuck did you bring? Why? You're coming to a place full of animals with people that breed animals. They don't give a shit about your animal. We already have. Don't bring an animal. Stop it. Don't be that person. But if you're in the area or if you're not in the area, fly down, drive down, whatever. Come to Texas Carpet Fest. It's going to be a great thing. They're going to have barbecue. You'll get to see Reptilandia, which just the pictures I've seen. I watched some videos of the day of them releasing some animals into the new exhibits. And someone made a perfect comment.
I put Reptilandia in as the location. It took me to Costa Rica. I'm like, that's
wrong
not the one.
But I watched some of the videos of them putting the animals in exhibits. And someone had a perfect example. It's like just releasing them into the wild. Some of those exhibits are so great and they're so huge. Like I said, our buddy Jason went and took pictures, and they're so huge. Go to that August 14th. Put it on your calendars. Come to Reptilandia. Go to Texas Carpet Fest. You don't have to keep carpet pythons to come hang out. It's just reptile people. So come do it. Bryce Halford said he found an older book on parasites. That's kind of cool. Understanding reptile parasites. As someone who collects books and never reads them, as this book with shelf behind me shows, I like the book. I'd never read it, but it would go on my bookshelf with all the rest of the reptile books that I've never read that I think are pretty on my shelf. See what else someone posted. I've seen this picture before. The box turtle with the water on its shell like it's Blastoise.
Mm-hmm.
It's a funny one. This one got floated around. The guy opened his door and a snake bit him on the head, and then he like freaks out and falls down.
He hurt himself way worse than he did with the snake bite.
Just a rat snake bit him on the head, and he freaks out. It's hilarious. Another one. Joe Smith posted this. Did you see this one? The Texas Indigo eating the Western Diamondback.
Did.
Such a badass snake. Travis Wyman posted this one. Thanks a lot, Travis. Now there's another Samboa species that I want. So they've rediscovered a new species. Anyway, they've rediscovered that a species exists called I guess it's Gubon or Gubin, whatever, Samboa.
Is it a live bearer or is it an egg layer?
It doesn't say here.
Ooh.
I don't know. I mean, it definitely could be either one because there are two species of Samboa that do lay eggs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But now I want it.
Now, by looking at it, I'm hoping that it is a live bearer, and then I will love it the best of all of them.
I'm missing a handful of Samboa species. This now adds to the list, and now I'm missing slightly more than a handful now. So if anybody wants to sneak this one into the country and get it to me, I'm all for it. I need this. Also, just I'm going to give you my shopping list. Anybody out there, I need a captive bred Saharan Samboas. Take some captive bred Saharan Samboas. I don't want wild caught. I know they're out there. I know you can find them for cheap. I'm not asking for those. I don't want them. I need Arabian Samboas. Look, I only know one guy that actually breeds them. None of the rest of y'all can help me with that one. So anybody listening, if you have them, I'll take them. But Arabian Samboas, those are the ones that look like sock puppets. They're fucking amazing. I'm missing. Oh, what's the one? It's a weird name and it's kind of brownish. Oh, fuck! It escapes me. But that, and then now this one. So yeah, what?
So the Wikipedia entry for that samboa, the Eryx boreae,
Yeah.
is a species of snake in the family Boidae. The species is endemic to Somalia. That's it. That's all the information.
Well, because if you read this, it was first described 120 years ago, and that's it. Like,
on iNaturalist, it is a species with 0 observations.
this is the first picture of a live one that they have.
So yeah, so nobody knows.
Yeah. So
Bum, bum, bum,
it's also in Somalia, so I guess I'm imagining it's not a super safe place to walk around and find a samboa, because I don't think Somalia is one of those really friendly places.
Yeah, no.
No.
But now I want this one. Why can't I not think?
That
I
would
mean,
be a good video though. You going risking your life for that particular samboa. Do it.
that is
Next
true.
episode.
The problem is no one would ever see the video because I'd be dead.
Duh. No, it'd be like the Blair Witch Project.
Just,
See, somebody would stumble upon it with your remains,
just standing
and
in the corner.
then the new species will be in abundance, and we'll just name it after you guys. It'll be called the Gumbo.
I've never know how to pronounce this. Javelin Samboa. That's one I'm missing. And the
Javelin?
Tartar Samboa. I'm missing that one.
Tar.
But I got Kenyans, Russians, Indians, rough scales. I think I'm good right there. There's a few more I need.
Oh, Sean's mom just shared the copperhead on the
Oh.
lid.
Okay. At least it's not bad. I've seen before where it's like, look at the nursing or whatever. Where it's like, look at these babies nursing on the mama. I'm like, fucking, I hate people. And then our buddy Travis also posted a paper on the genetic basis for facultative parthenogenesis in Drosophila. Thanks, Travis. I guess. Thanks.
It's cool.
You know, I don't fucking understand that. I mean, I understand Drosophila is a fly, and I understand facultative parthenogenesis, but yeah, that's good. Thanks. Now I need you to go back and explain what the fuck it means. You know that is your job, Travis Wyman. Travis, your job is to dumb down all the scientific articles you give us. You failed at your job. Because I don't know what that means. Anyways, that was our update on things that got posted over on our discussion page. I was really hoping my wife would come up here at some point. It's been an hour and 36 minutes and she didn't. So sucks to be her.
She was texting you a minute ago.
Yeah, she told me that what she was talking about was important, but it's Girl Scouts. It can't be that important. I mean, it's not cookie season. It's not cookie season. It's not important. It's the only time that they do anything that I want.
I mean, she lost 2 potential buyers here, so we're not buying cookies now.
Dude, if they come back with those raspberry cookies next year,
Did you get those? Those were mail order, weren't they?
At the Polk County Pagan Festival, the little girl had some samples.
Oh,
It's like, I can't sell you some, but you can try them. I'm like, that's the best cookie I've ever had. Can I have a couple more of those?
yeah, they were only mail order,
Oh my God, they were.
and it was
good.
fucking like shipping on those things was the whole thing was ridiculous to be able to. You had to order a case, and yeah, that's why I was like, why would you do that? Why would you make a mail order only Girl Scout cookie? Like,
Yeah,
you're just wasting money.
Yeah.
They're delicious.
Dummies.
They're delicious.
Yes.
Hey, can I borrow $650 to buy this Samboa since I don't own one of these?
I can write you a check, but you can't cash it.
Fuck. The shipping's extra, so can I borrow like $700?
Right.
I just need to finish that. It's like Pokemon. I got to catch them all, and I'm working on it. Anyways, so back to let's finish up with some Reptile Youth Alliance stuff. So what? How many kids? I guess have y'all worked with? How big is it?
Oh, it's pretty big. We have several hundred kids involved.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, Savannah, how many kids do you see a week? You see a lot.
So typically the schools that I visit during the school year are typically Title I students, and I visit 5 schools a week, and I typically have about 20 kids in my class during the school year. I do visit aftercare like YMCA, and when I visit those, we typically have 50 to 120 kids. And this summer, I probably saw over 2,000 kids in Pinellas County and told them about the Reptile Youth Alliance, got them interested in it. And I've been going to the schools for 8 years, so I kind of have a great rapport. And it's funny because a lot of the people that hire me, they don't even like the reptiles, but they know that the kids like it and they continue to book us, which is awesome. And And we are trying to grow. If it's something that, you're interested, please reach out to us at the Reptile Youth Alliance, either on our Facebook page or on our Instagram, or even via the website. We're looking for more mentors. We're looking for more chapters. Obviously, our first show was here in Florida, our first science fair convention, but we want to expand. Our next spot we were actually thinking about was we were thinking where we were. Oh, that would be really nice, but we want Gila monsters.
I know people that own Gila monsters in Texas.
Oh, that could be. I don't know. That could be a good thing. I do like Texas.
We did a herpes trip down here in Fort Myers after the Saturday after our conference with a few of the kids, and one of our speakers took us herping down here. We didn't really find much because it was hot.
So
everything is hot.
But
so
we
when you're
found frogs and
when you're going to these schools, are you going to just speak about the Alliance, or is this a regular thing with the same kids every week or every week, however often?
Well, it's a mix of both. I don't speak just on the organization, it's hands-on interaction with animals. We've been doing it kind of together for about 4 years. So I really wasn't promoting that at first. It was under my other business name, which is Safari Savvy. And that was a for-profit business. I'm trying to see how we can segue taking my for-profit business and pushing it into the nonprofit. As of now, I can't, because that's how I support myself.
Yeah.
But we do a lot of donations of programs. So a lot of the students I visit, like there's one school that I visit, and I visit the same students every week. And then I see them throughout the entire school year. And then with Title I students, I'll visit different schools. It could be public schools. A lot of it are private schools because they still have their Title I funding. And so that I usually do 6-week courses. And so that'll kind of be a change of students every 6 weeks. And then daily, obviously. And then for the aftercares, it really just depends. I go typically every first center books. If they book often, I'll visit about once a month. If they book, less often, it'll be every 2 months. So I'm seeing new kids and the same kids. And then I visit some middle schools. So it's neat to see them as middle schoolers. And some of my students are now high schoolers. So
when you're visiting the schools, are you visiting school hours, or is it after school program, or how does that work?
Both. So with the Title I, it could be the school picks whether or not they want us there during the day, during their curriculum hour, and they set aside time for that class. Or some of them prefer to be an after school event. And then my bread and butter primarily is going to be the YMCA and our club, and those are aftercare, because instead of shipping kids to a zoo, we come to them. They don't want the liability, or this year was the first year that they did it. And I know everybody was like, oh my gosh, this is awful. I'm like, yeah, you have fun herding 200 kids through a zoo in 90-degree weather.
Yes. So my wife she started a zoology club at her school, and they meet, I want to say once a week. I think once a week after school. And she's got a little thing. And she's actually got, so like the older kids get to do stuff, animal hands-on stuff in her room. They get to do larger stuff. And then some of the younger kids don't actually come to the meetings, but she has like printouts and emails that go to the parents every week for those kids. So there's things they can look at and read and do at home.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah,
that's the one thing that we really wanted to do with the Reptile Youth Alliance, because there are so many teachers on board. When I do the larger schools, obviously it's presentation, but the schools that I visit weekly, I've created worksheets based around the different animals that they interact with. And Jessica's created a lot of different science activities. One of the ones that we did at the conference was really cool. Was slime. The kids made slime, but we talked about salamander slime and its benefits: antimicrobial, antibacterial, antifungal, and maybe it actually might help save in the future of amphibians from chytrid. So what we want to do is we want to create the Reptile Youth Alliance as kind of a place where we could come together, just like teachers do in general, where we can share our different workshops and what the kids have really, gained most interest in and gotten the most out of. So we really are trying to create a place. We do most of our stuff on Canva. So we try to kind of share that information so that we can use it, because I know Jessica's got a lot of great ideas that I never thought of. And I feel like, not that great, but vice versa. I think we all have, some ideas to share. And it'd be good to have a collective area where we could share that information. And then we have that resources together so that, everybody's not just running by the seat of their pants themselves and doing all of the research themselves.
Bruh, I'm hoping to build a reptile zoo at my school. Robert's going to help me out. I've got a room attached to my room that also has a window that faces the hallway. And we're going to build several cages into that window. And my goal is to build a small zoo there. These skinks are actually going to go there. And eventually have a club of kids that come in and they take care of it all. They strip cages, clean cages, they feed, they do all the regular basic work.
That's what I do. So I have a facility in Eustis, and the kids come to me there, and they are in charge of taking care of all the animals that we have there. And then I actually, one of the grants that we got for the Reptile Youth Alliance was to put a science lab in there. So we've, put a science lab. So they come, they get academic assistance. So if they're struggling, we have tutors that we set them up with. And the kids like coming because they, of course, love to play with the animals and take care of it. But one thing that I've been so impressed with is like the dedication that the kids have.
Yeah.
I deal with a lot of kids who are kind of on their own. They don't have like parental support. And some of the kids I have, like they ride their bikes up, 3 or 4 miles to come and take care of the animals. And they'll come, like if it's pouring down the rain, if they're supposed to be there, like they show up and they are so dedicated. So it's been really, really nice to see that.
That's what I'm hoping to get, to when I talked about doing it, only certain kids would be allowed to join the club and do this, but I don't think I didn't want it to be grade based, right? I wanted it to be behavior based because I didn't want it to be only the smart kids could do this. I wanted some of the more, I guess, at risk kids, but still behave, give them a reason to behave and come do this.
Right. That's exactly what we want to do. Because I think I was one of these people who if you have low self-confidence or if you're dealing with things at home, you don't have, help from parents with your schoolwork, then I think you feel like you can't do something in science or you can't, or even like go to college to be a zookeeper and make minimum wage. I think a lot of times the kids just haven't found something they're passionate about. And that's what we've been able to see. Like some of the kids who've graduated, the one kid, my very first kid that I ever worked with, he actually came from a very, both his parents were doctors. His older brother was in med school, but he just wasn't doing well in school. He was bullied a lot. And snakes for him gave him confidence. Like he would come help out with the snakes. And I think him showing people snakes helped so much with his confidence. He turned his academics around and he joined the Navy and now is serving in Japan. So it's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's really neat to see how snakes, people don't think that snakes can change someone's life, but they definitely can. So
you said you have kids come to a facility. Do you have I'm asking this for personal reasons purely, but do you have procedures and protocols and safety stuff about that kind of information all?
Oh yeah. And I mean, we're not dealing with anything that's, I do.
Yeah. No.
Anything that would be super harmful, and we're always supervised. So, and really I haven't had, any kind of issue. Knock on wood. We did have a little girl get bit in the face the other day by a boa, but she was warned not to mess with that boa.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I got a jungle carpet python that was given to me for this, and that's gonna be a hands-off one.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. So.
All right, well then I may reach out to you because that's one thing my principal's like, we just need to make sure you have procedures and protocols that you can give us. I'm like, yeah, I'll get those written up, and I haven't completely written those up yet, so I may see.
Sure. So some of the events that we do, actually the research conference, they gave the venue gave us a really hard time with having the live animals and it being hands-on. So, a lot of the places that we do make us have waivers, especially because it's kids and minors.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate.
I think the waiver is the big issue, and that I think you go over the basic things that if they were to get bit, it would be less than a like a diabetics test. But personally, luckily, visiting schools, I've never had anybody bit, but I'm more cautious visiting schools. And then at my facility, I usually have them sign waivers. And I've had a couple kids bit by a king snake. He was always a good king snake until he decided he was going to start biting everybody. And then I had one student bit by my parrot, and she was warned, and there was like 5 signs in the cage not to stick your fingers in there, and she did. So,
All right, so I got to point this out. So our buddy Luke, who's in Australia, said check out the Lilydale High School Reptile House in Australia. They have a whole website and everything for the Reptile House.
oh, cool.
I'll have to watch this video later. But that's a school with I did meet a guy once when I was at Tinley. It was a teacher, and he showed me on his phone like a live cam footage, and he's from some school up north. But they had a whole like basically breeding facility of reptiles, and like racks and cages, and all their kids took care of them. They bred things. I was like, it was a high school.
Yeah, there's a middle school in DeLand, which is in Central Florida.
Yeah,
they have a zoology, like it's a zoology class, and they I only know this because she used to buy like rats and feeders from me, but they had a whole breeding facility, but they did like fish and coral and
oh wow,
reptiles. It was really cool. They had a bunch of stuff. So
do y'all work with Florida, University of Florida, since they have a big herpetology program there? And as far as education and research, have y'all reached out with them with the Reptile Youth Alliance to try and work with them?
no, we haven't contacted them yet.
That's I just remember when I was looking
at the Florida. I'm sorry, the Florida Gulf Coast University, because they had a herpetology department, but because it was summer, I think that we didn't really have much. We didn't have much interaction with any of the professors or anything there, unfortunately.
I remember back, and now I'm realizing how long ago it was. But when I was looking at colleges, Florida was one of the ones that had like a master's program. They've had several things. Another one would be talking to Dr. Zach Loafman up north, who at I can't remember what college he teaches at, but they have an actual master's program for like animal care and husbandry, and they do a lot of reptile stuff, and so that just be kind of cool. We can find some of these second to these higher level educations that have to do with reptiles specifically, animals specifically.
We did talk to a professor at Florida?
West Liberty.
It was a state college, like a community college, and he did
Jordan.
No, I don't remember his name, and I don't remember what it was. Florida. I can't remember the name of the school, but he has. It was in Fort Myers, and he does things with freshmen out in the field, so they get
that's cool
experience as freshmen at like a state college. So that would be really good for some of our kids.
Jordan, and I'm going to say it wrong. It's Donini.
Yep,
and
that's what it is.
That's how it's spelled. And he's actually doing a convention coming up soon too, if it didn't just pass.
Well, and Dr. Zach Loafman, it's West Liberty in West Virginia, which I know is a long ways from y'all, but he does you can get like there's several people I know that work on their masters up there.
Yep.
And he's got a pretty big reptile collection up there, and they breed, and I know that was doing their masters on like baby corn snakes and how they ended up having to get a ton of baby corn snakes and raise them up, and then like afterwards they found homes for them all and they got rid of them. But so that's just kind of cool. It's also nice just seeing like colleges actually doing stuff with reptiles now.
Yeah, we have a long list of people that we need to get in touch with. So.
We just keep knocking them out. Never enough hours in the day.
That's true.
A fact.
That's why, we definitely want to expand to get some help. So
because right now it's just Jessica and I, and we have not, we're not paying ourselves. This is all all out of labor of love. We're hoping to build something really great. And so, we both have our own jobs, and then we're doing this on the side too. So we actually had when we kind of came up with this idea, we were actually running a podcast, but we just couldn't keep up with it all. We're like, look, we got to drop one. So we still have it. We're still on Spotify. Dang it. We'll have to have you guys on when we start calming down a little bit. But yeah.
What you need to do is open up a building and name it the Reptile Youth Alliance Church, because churches are really good at being nonprofit and somehow still making tons of money.
Right.
So if you can become a mega church for reptiles, you can make tons of money.
I've always thought about being a cult leader. I have.
See?
I really, it's been in my wheelhouse for a while. But then I'm like, morally, like, should I do it? Like,
just don't have them kill themselves.
See, I couldn't get up there and quote the Bible without laughing.
Oh, but you don't do, if you're doing the cult, I don't know that you need,
You can skip the Jesus part because it's cult. You don't just pray like some lizard god.
You just gotta hold a snake,
dance with
I mean-
snakes.
That's what I was gonna
We
say.
don't
Like,
do the venomous snakes. I'm not doing all that kind of stuff, but I can.
See?
Well, you know what? I'll do hog nose.
There you go.
Weird thing. Venomous.
Just
It's
tell you.
venomous.
Just telling you right
They
now,
don't wanna
that's
give
how
us all
y'all
difference
make your money.
anyway.
You become a church, and then you do it that way. They make tons of money. I mean, just a
They
mega
do.
church, but for reptiles. You're just doing it wrong right now.
yeah.
I know.
And at least you did go out and get like nonprofit paperwork, unlike the rescues on Facebook who are looking for animals
Yeah.
that are rescues them like they've never
Looking
seen.
specifically for this morph only.
Yeah. Somebody
And
have piebald
I've
ball
only
pythons.
ever taken care of crested geckos before, but I'm definitely a good rescuer. I actually,
Well,
unfortunately, went into business
What about the
with
one our
somebody
friend
like
John sent
that.
us today?
So our friend John sent us one. This guy was looking
I'm gonna
for.
read it right now.
Oh, go ahead. It's fucking. It's not a rescue. It's just a fucking.
It's in a
Oklahoma redneck.
Oklahoma group, if that tells you enough. The guy posted how we talk too much. Here we go. Anyone have a bearded dragon for a low price? I can only afford up to $50. I really want reptiles, but on a tight budget. Hell, I'm even living in a hotel room. But if you got one, let me know. I'm blah blah blah, and I'll meet somewhere else so I can sneak it in.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I told you, but I joined the group.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, I already got kicked out. I commented and said, what I'm going to paraphrase this. Someone please give me a bearded dragon so I can slowly kill it with MBD and improper nutrition because I can't afford even proper caging for it. And yeah,
$50, yeah.
because that's pretty much what he's saying. Give me this animal that I cannot take care of. You know, hey, we've all been through hard times, and I understand he might be lonely. Dude might be living by himself, and he's looking for something to be a companion. But, geez, man, don't get something that relies on you to keep it alive if you can barely keep yourself alive.
Fucking people.
Facts.
All right, so we are coming up on 2 hours. So let's wrap this up. If people want to reach out to y'all and give to y'all and help y'all and do whatever they can for y'all at the Reptile Youth Alliance, how can they reach out to y'all?
We have a website, reptileyoutalliance.com, although I am updating it right now because I'm taking all of our conference stuff that passed. And then also we're on Facebook and Instagram, Reptile Youth Alliance.
Yeah, check us out. Reptile Youth Alliance. Raya
I just
for
followed you
short,
guys.
but if you check us out, it's reptileyouthAlliance.com. And then Instagram, Reptile Youth Alliance, and Facebook, Reptile Youth Alliance. That goes directly to me and Jessica. So please feel free to reach out. And yeah, any way you can help, or if you want to open a chapter up in your area, or if you want to shoot some ideas, we're definitely all for it.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to hook y'all up with Megan because I think Megan
Yeah, I
would
think
love
they
this.
y'all would get along really well.
And she'd be a great one to maybe eventually try to open
She's
up.
been my friend for like a year and a half, and I still can't pronounce her last name.
Some dumb bitch. Slappy bitch.
No. Yeah, I'm not
Sloppy
gonna go
sandwich.
there.
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
going there. She's gonna sit here.
Slap
You're gonna get a message later.
a dog a ditch.
It's a long last name.
It starts with S and it ends in itch.
and it has some K's in it.
There's a J in there
Yeah.
somewhere. I think.
But she,
Sofa King.
So I've been to So Fucking Burger in Nashville. There's a So Fucking Burger. I think it's Nashville. It's Sofa King.
Sofa King.
Good
Yeah.
burger.
yeah, they tried to
Sofa
they opened
King
a
burger.
what was it called? Faux yourself.
By yourself.
Yeah,
It's not faux, it's by yourself.
but they did it. They made it where you said "pho" incorrectly on purpose
To
to
say
be
it.
funny. And the city of Houston denied them a permit to open, and they had to sue, and they won, so they got to call their shit what they wanted. Yeah,
Okay, now my buddy Jason Miloradovich, which I can pronounce because that's much easier, just sent me a picture of a
Sent it
bunch
to
of
me
baby
too.
Samboas.
yep.
And I don't know what type they are, but I fucking want them.
Those are pretty.
Once more.
I don't
Well,
know, I
if you've
do-
seen Idiocracy, then you'll know you need to go to Butt Fuckers and eat because that's the best place to go.
Everything's owned by Carl's
If you
Jr.
haven't seen
by the way.
Idiocracy, it's a must.
So you'll like that.
I do like
Yeah,
nice.
It is.
It
It's
like
time
shows
capsule.
like how over the 200 years it went from Fuddruckers to Rudfuckers to Budbuckers to Buttfuckers. And then everywhere like Starbucks is gentlemen's lattes, full release
It's a super
lattes.
All right, so I need to find out where I can stream this.
Yes, it's hilarious, man.
Yeah,
Okay.
pay for it if you need to. Actually, buy it because you're gonna want to watch it more than once. It's hilarious. Maya Rudolph is in it. Oh my gosh, one of those what is his name? The brothers. Oh,
Luke Wilson.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of those
He's the
Wilson
main character.
brothers.
The one without the
Yeah.
broken nose.
Yes, not the one that goes wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
My,
Not the
my favorite
tortoise.
video is still the
And-
tortoises.
and
I
Terry
fucking love the
Crews.
video.
Terry
Wow.
Crews plays the president,
Wow.
who was also the nation's most popular wrestler
Oh.
and porn star, and now he's Dwayne Elizondo Camacho Nacho Hernandez. He's
Those
the
are
president.
Russians.
Yes.
Oh wow,
Sorry, those Sambos
Yeah.
are Russians.
there's some orange in those.
Okay,
That's
so,
cool.
so I know we just got black Russians from him, but now I want those Russians too. Fuck.
All of
Yeah,
us.
you got to watch it, James. It's
You
you're
really
gonna
do.
you'll be texting me while you're watching it.
All right.
Oh
you
my
watch the
gosh.
news?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Hey,
that's
gotta look
Righteous
for Upgrade
Gemstones.
too. Watch out for
Yeah,
Upgrade.
we got to watch out for Upgrade. You'll see, baby.
Okay.
It's so
Oh
good.
my god, it's so good.
All right, so let's wrap this up and then yes, reach out to Reptile Youth Alliance. If you're looking for LED UVB light bulbs, check out VivTech products. Use code Gumbo22 to save 15%. Check out Little Shop of Horrors for all your feeder needs, especially if you're in the Texas area. Great rodents. If you mention us, your first order is 10% off. LS Reptile Racks. Check out .com. Racks, cages, signs, acrylic, whatever you need cut, he'll cut it. Cheese. Herb's Reptile shows. See you at a Herb's Reptile show near you, us, somewhere. Come to them. And that is it. If y'all hang around for a second, we'll say bye to everybody else that's watching. We'll be back next week with an in-studio guest.
Oh yeah, well, Brittany.
Yes, we'll have an in-studio guest next week. That'll be good. Like last week we had one. Next week we're becoming a common thing.
Cool.
So good night to everybody else that's watching. Thanks for watching. See y'all next week.